you know how you get a little older, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it could be maybe money's low. It could be you're just tired of pinning yourself, and you're like, I'm gonna just do fucking half the EQ I usually do, or I'm not even gonna take GH this fucking off season, and then you look exactly the same or better, right? Is that because your body matured and kept the muscle for so long, or is that?
That would be my opinion. Yes.
Okay. Because sometimes I think people say like, "Oh, you don't need any of this because I didn't use it at the end of my career." But it's like, but did it help you build the muscle? You know, because when I used GH initially, my body changed so much. But now when I don't use it versus when I use it, I feel it. I feel the pump, but my look doesn't change drastically anymore. Right. So then
I feel like same. It's the same with that training and food. Like, for example, when I was younger, I feel like I had to eat so much food. I remember like I maintain like 230 to 240 pounds right now just on TRT. But I remember then like I'd be on a cycle and I'm just sitting there eating and killing myself. I'm like, I can't get any fucking bigger. Like I thought my ceiling was like 230 pounds. But I was also young and impatient, right? You know, I thought that first cycle was going to be the same every time. Like, I'm just going to keep. I was like, oh, hell, by the time I'm 23, I'll be like one of the biggest guys in the world. Yeah, that didn't happen. I mean, I was by the time I was like 27, but that's 4 more years. But I will say that, like, as I've gotten older, I don't need as much food to maintain the muscle. I don't have to train as hard to maintain the muscle.
Volume, too. Training.
Don't need,
Training volume, you don't need as much volume.
I don't push it as hard, not only with volume, and this is not by choice, if I'm being blatantly honest, because I love to train. Like I've just noticed as I've gotten older, I don't know if it's one of two things. I'm older and I don't take shit anymore, but I cannot train the way I did in my 20s because I still got those training programs, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like I've done them. Like there'll be days that I feel really good, and I'll go in and I'll do like a 40 to 50 set workout, and I'll feel good at the time, and then I'm wrecked for like 2 or 3 days afterwards.
Oh my god, that's the worst because
like you legit working sets to failure. But it worked great for me then, but it shit don't work for me now.
Bro, the amount of volume now. But if I'm being honest, if my volume was this low 10 years ago, I don't think it would have worked as well. I just think that
I don't think so either. I think when you're younger, you can do that, and it builds that tissue up.
Exactly. Well, even the pump, I would need like 2 exercises, 6 sets to actually get a good pump back then. Now I do 1 working set and I'm pumped. Right? Like you have a better connection. Everything is just different. But my
you also just learn to train as well. Like you learn to train for bodybuilding and not just lift weights.
Exactly. I remember there was a time I was like, yo, I can't believe I used to deadlift 7 plates easily and squat 6, 7 plates. Like, am I weaker now? And then I watched the videos and the form was so shit. I'm like, well, technically, I'm actually stronger now. Like, if you compare the form, like, you know, the way I deadlift 4 plates now, it's still probably more impressive than the 7 plate deadlift.
Well, it's funny because, I think this was before the Texas Pro. Mm-hmm. Me, Paul, and Joe was sitting on the couch inside Destination, and we were talking to Jose and Guy, which obviously those are 2, they're not really in the Hall of Fame yet, but they will eventually get inducted into the Hall of Fame. I don't see how either one of them couldn't be, right?
For sure.
But, like, you know, me and Joe were literally both saying, like, as we progressed in our careers, and obviously Joe was just in the beginning of his, but we don't lift as much weight as we did like a couple of years ago, but yet we continued to get bigger. And Jose kind of like intercepted that. And he was like, yeah, he said, because you're not lifting weights no more. You're training to be a bodybuilder because you learn how to move the weight with, like, you're learning that mind to muscle. You're not just moving from point A to point B. You're squeezing, you're contracting, you're getting a full range of motion, or as much as you can as you get bigger, right? But like, you're training differently. You're not just moving weight.
Exactly. Well, the beautiful thing is, at the same time, like you get to, like you just said, we can't even physically train like that anymore. Honestly, like my shoulders couldn't take it, my back, knees couldn't take it.
So I
But the
think
beauty,
it's good.
yeah, man. But the beauty is that you don't have the ego anymore, so you don't give a fuck. You don't care. Like I'm at a point. I'm like, I don't care what people think of my training. Like I don't care what it looks like to you. You know, if I have
Yeah.
like nowadays the incline, I haven't flat benched in a long time, but now even the incline barbell or anything barbell press is starting to hurt my shoulders. Then I'm like, I'm here and I'm doing 2 plates on incline, right? So I'm holding back on weight. I can't push to failure, and it hurts. At that point, I could do a hammer strength and put 4 or 5 plates with perfect form and get way more reps and get a better. I'm at that point. I'm like, am I just incline benching just for my own old school ego?
Go as well, because I did it too, man. Because I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like, this is something me and Joe talked about. It's like sometimes there's exercises that like some of the greats, of the
Mm-hmm.
90s, the 80s, those guys saying you have to do this, you have to do this.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is a staple. Well,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's fucking not. Like
No.
it's
Yeah.
not. Like I know plenty of guys. Who was it? It was Jose or guy was telling me. I think it was Paul DeMeo. Didn't go past like 315 on squats, and that was like your quadzilla.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I know guy. I mean, I don't think Joe did any bent over rows this offseason. We all know what his back looks like. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
that. Like I don't. I mean, it worked for Dorian, but the thing is, could Dorian have done it differently and got the same results? Probably. But back
Exactly.
then, they didn't. It was an older school mentality, and it worked for them. But
Mm-hmm.
I would be willing to bet that those guys are all suffering with like the joint pain that like we get to. I feel like we get to live and learn from that. I mean, look at Ronnie. But Ronnie's a different exception. Ronnie did things that most people couldn't do if they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I feel like the guy asked me today. Will asked me about behind the neck presses. I said I'm not a fan of the behind the neck press, like shoulder press.
Mm-hmm.
I said I feel like you're putting your labrum at a very very hard angle. So is it effective at building muscle? Yeah, it'll build muscle, but I feel like you're going to put yourself at a high risk of injury. So just we can get the job done without doing that shit. I know Levrone was like notorious. He was like doing like 4 or 5 plates, which is retarded,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
could do it. And Kevin, I think, was an exception to the rule. He had a pec tear in the beginning of his career. You knew that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, a lot because it's you really can't tell it. His surgeon needs a pat on the back because he did a hell of a job at
It
fixing that.
looks phenomenal. It looks
I
phenomenal.
didn't even know he had it. Dude, when I was learning about bodybuilding, I didn't know Kevin was one of my favorites when I was a teenager. I didn't
Yeah.
even know he had a pec tear.
Well,
So
we have like a natural indentation here.
yeah,
So if you look at his chest, one of these indentations, it
just
comes in deeper.
just a little bit more.
But I don't know how they attached it perfectly to that origin point
They
because
nailed it.
sometimes they nailed it. Because I've seen that, and I've seen people with this is maybe down here or up here or like halfway through the chest. But his looks honestly, the injured side might looks better than the fucking the other
Yeah,
side.
because it probably looks like it's just like a deeper cut.
Yeah, it looks like Phil because
Deeper torsion.
Phil has some deep cuts in his chest too,
Yeah.
and
I
it
remember Phil
looked
when he would walk out, when he's just like fully sitting there relaxed, like you could just see like he was so lean and so dry. You could
yeah,
just see like that. It almost looked like a tear, but it wasn't. It was just because that's how his muscle belly was.
exactly. But back to the training. Kevin also got away with a lot of stuff because he was only training 4 months out the year.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was going to say. He didn't train
yeah,
hard 365 days of the year. So I think that's why he was able to, probably still walk around healthier than most of us today.
exactly. Some people argue that he would have been better training all year. Well, he did in earlier, and his legs were better. I'll say that, but that was about it. I mean, he
I
actually
think
got
if he would
bigger.
have stayed year round, like I think he would have. I don't think Kevin's dumb by any means. So I think his health would be fine. I
Mhm.
think I think if Kevin would have trained, give him 11 months of the year, I
Mhm.
think he could have knocked Dorian off.
There
I
you
really
go.
do. I
Okay.
think that would have been Kevin's legacy to have won Mr. Olympia because Dorian always had that grainy, hard, and he also was a little bigger than Kevin on everything as well. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you were to put another 10 to 12 pounds on Kevin, or even 20 pounds on Kevin. And I know he was capable of doing it. I mean, if he could transform like that,
So
that's
yeah.
insane. But if he's got that 20 more pounds, and then when it comes to dieting, if he's willing to diet harder and get to Dorian's level conditioning, he may have came in at the same size, but he would have matched Dorian on conditioning at that same size, and it would have been game over.
Yeah, because we know he can get the condition because we've seen it at a lighter body weight.
Yeah.
If see, that's the thing. If you can get that condition at any point, I believe you're capable of it at any point. Maybe the detail won't look exactly the same from like Hadi at the Arnold. He didn't have the same glute detail that maybe he did beginning of his career, but close enough. I mean, it's pretty close. So I still think Kevin could have gotten that condition. I honestly believe when he says that he didn't believe that he could beat Dorian and Ronnie regardless of what he did. And maybe that sounds like a defeatist mindset, but think about it. To completely give up everything in your life to place on a show and you honestly believe there's no way you could win, I kind of understand. I kind of understand why you wouldn't want to
yes.
hurt, because he's healthy, perfectly healthy.
I mean, I get it. Like, I personally believe he could have beaten. I don't know if he could have beaten Ronnie, man, because Ronnie.
I don't think that.
But I think he could have taken Dorian down.
I think so.
But I mean, I understand in his mind, if he really didn't believe he could do it, then why torture yourself?
Yeah. Well,
he said place anyways, and you can do half the work.
He said Joe Weider told him that Dorian is better for business. That doesn't necessarily mean that Joe Weider is going to stop you from winning per se.
That's what I'm saying. I think Dorian probably was better for business, but I feel like if you could have came in, you know, they always say in order to beat the champ, you can't just beat him; you got to knock him out.
Yeah.
I think Kevin could have knocked him out.
I think so too. I think so too.
So I mean, if you come up there and you just straight up embarrass Dorian, they have no choice but to give it to you. Like you can put the judges in a position where no matter how much they like this guy, they have to go this way.
100%. Well, because Joe Weider loved what's the guy's name, the tall German guy too, but he didn't let him. Gunter, yeah. Everybody said that was his favorite, but he didn't go say, "Hey, judges, make sure he wins the Olympia." Like I don't think he's not going to go that far.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have. I don't think he had an Olympia winning physique. He was a top Olympian, but I don't think he was there to be able to topple like Dorian or Ronnie. I mean, he got Ronnie that one time, but Ronnie showed up off.
I've seen those pictures on Instagram. I got to be honest, Ronnie was pretty off, man. Pretty off. I think once you outgrow your body, you can't downsize again.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You can't do it.
You can't go backwards.
The muscle bellies don't look the same anymore when you do that.
No. It's like let's say you at one point your best look was 220, but then you start competing at 270. You go back down to 220, you're not going to look as good as Stick.
You know, the only guy I think that has done that successfully, I'm going to give him a shout out here. I don't think he likes me too much, which is fine because I did not take a poke at him, but I kind of took a poke at one of his friends. But Horse MD, because remember he was in the Open,
you're right.
Back to Classic, and he won that show. And I actually thought, I was like, oh man, he's going to have loose skin. You know, he's going to show up. He's not going to have that full pop, but he actually looked pretty damn good.
He looked pretty good. Definitely a lot smaller, but
he had to fit the weight cap.
Yeah, he did.
We'll talk about that when we start, like the difference between like Classic and Open once we get into talking about Tampa. Because being huge didn't make. You know, he did the Open, right?
Who that?
There's a guy. He goes by Ben Huge, but his name is actually Ben Hodge.
I think I follow him.
Yeah, you probably do, man. He's got a big name for himself. He's got a great physique too.
Let me see. Oh yeah, but I know that guy. Okay, let me see. How do you pull up the? Okay, let me see. Ben Huge. This guy.
Yeah. That's
okay. So he was supposed to be Classic, and he did Open.
Yeah, he actually made a post. I don't know if it's still there about keep going down. I don't know if it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically he was talking about, or I'm pretty confident it was him because he was the one that was in the in the open. But it was basically a height card, and I at first like if you read the first paragraph, it almost seems like he's bashing the way that they do things. But then he goes on and explains it, and it's obviously not there. He must have deleted, or maybe it was on a story. I don't know, but I saw it, and I agree with him 1,000% because like let's say if your height class goes up to like 6'1 1/4", right,
Uh-huh.
and you're right on the dot at like 6'1 1/4".
Yeah.
Well, if they measure you just a tiny bit under, I mean an eighth of an inch under, dude, that's 10 pounds. Like,
Okay. Okay.
so in
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
words, like if he's competed at this height before, at this height and this weight before, then it's really not fair to come back and say, "Oh, well, you're shorter now, and you didn't make weight." Like I feel like as a pro in classic, because this is not the first time I've heard this story. I
Yeah.
feel like as a pro in classic, I feel like this is something that the Manions could do, and it wouldn't be a big deal. As a matter of fact, I think it would promote the sport too, because you would have all your top guys going to Pittsburgh, or either go to Pittsburgh, go to like whoever like your highest ranked officials are. Go to Sandy, go to Bill. I would say go to Tyler, but that's obviously Pittsburgh. But like go to those people, like make it to where like we're going to measure you and we're going to give you a card, like an actual like it's going to go on your pro card that you're 5'10", you're 5'11", whatever your height is. That way, if you choose not to do it, that's fine too. Don't make it mandatory that the athlete's got to travel to see somebody.
Mhm.
But like if you choose not to do it, that's fine. We'll measure you at the show. But you can't complain about your height at the show because you have an option to go and get measured and make it official. And it should be like, I think it should be official for like 5 years.
They literally said they were going to do that like a year or two ago, and it never happened.
I just wish they would because, like I said, think about like if you had all of your Olympians, all of them showing up at. There's so many ways to market and make this look good and just be good. Not just about money, but actually be good. Like, imagine you got like Urs, Mike Sommerfeld, or what would have been Chris Bumstead, but he's retired. You got Terrence, all these guys, they fly up to Pittsburgh, they train at the Manion's gym. JM gets a chance to shoot them. It's promotion for the NPC, it's promotion for the athlete. They get to solidify this height card. Who loses?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. I think it's insane to show up to the show after God knows how long of dieting and not even know if you'll be able to compete. But not because of your fault, not because like you can't make the weight that you know you need to weight, just because you don't know what you're gonna measure. So many
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
how many people even Bumstead himself said 1 year I was measured 6'1 1/2", 1 year I was measured. So if this is happening to the top guy, holy shit, that's insane. So they have to
Yeah.
try to be on a
So
cusp. I think
I
that's
have clients
crazy.
of my own, like that are in classic, and I've got one guy that like he's like on like I don't remember, he's probably like 5'7.5", but I just know he's on the bottom end of like that group. So like
Yeah.
if he weighs in or not weighs in, sorry, if he measures in like a quarter inch or even an eighth inch short, we got like 10 pounds and he comes in shape, like, and he's gonna do a show this year and you'll see him soon.
Mhm.
I'm expecting a top three or maybe an Olympia qualification from this. Like if
Yeah.
he measures in like a tiny bit too short, we're screwed because I cannot bring this guy down 10 more pounds. It will be impossible to do that.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
why I think it
crazy.
would be good. That way the athlete knows, the coaches know, and there is no question about it. There's no controversy online. Again,
Mhm.
everybody gets their marketing in, like for both the athlete and the NPC. It's just great news for everybody, in my opinion. I think it needs to be done.
I think what you said is even better than what they proposed because they said it was going to be mandatory. I think a choice is better. You know why? Because what if you turn pro? Like Chris Aceto's son is like 19, right? Because if you turn pro
Yeah,
at
yeah,
19, so it would be in his interest to say, "Wait, I'm not going to do that yet because I'm potentially still growing." So for now, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
And plus, he's not going to be at the cap anyways, right? So he will be like, "Oh, no, I'm good. I'll just hide in whenever I get
Yeah,
there."
you can do it at the show, or you can just get your card, whichever one you want to do.
Exactly. And then a couple of years from now, if he hasn't grown, he could be like, "Okay, now I'm ready to get the card."
But you also got to realize the reason I think it should be optional is like some guys just simply don't have the money to hop on that plane and go fly. Like they're already scraping the bottom of the barrel to get by, and like they're paying for a pro card. It's not like they're paying us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're paying for the pro card. Clearly, there's a lot of money that goes into this sport. This is not a broke man sport or a sport, hobby, whatever you want to call it. This is not for broke people. You got to have a little bit of money to do it. There's no way around it. Like coach or no coach, that part doesn't matter. That's like the cheapest bill you're going to have is your coach when it comes to the sport.
Yeah.
But you have guys like when they have a family, they may have a wife, 2 or 3 kids. You don't have $1,000 to go spend to hop on a flight and spend 2-3 days in a hotel. So let those guys go to their show and get measured in. But I think they should have like 3 locations. Like obviously the man needs to be one since Gary Udit's like big. Let Gary make that decision. Even someone like Tim Gardner could make that decision. Even though the guy, I don't even know the guy. Yeah, I left that out. But yeah, he could do it too. Good fans. He could go there. Steve Judge is the Olympia. And he could do it. I mean, he's 100% qualified to do it. So like, there's that. I said you got Sandy. You can't let. I would say someone like Hani, but you can't let Hani do it just because Hani has coached. Even though he knows the sport, like the fact that he is hands-on with athletes, it wouldn't be cool for him to do it. You got to have someone like a judge or a promoter that has a non-biased, like we don't give a shit what your height is,
Yeah.
And again, that's not me picking on Hani, but like again, like it wouldn't be fair for me to do it because I coach, so I'm not like I would definitely be not qualified. I mean, sure I can measure your height, but like, do you really trust me? Will the fans trust me? Because you need to build that trust too.
This is true.
Think about the guys that's like Mike Summerfield. He's coming from Germany. He's not going to want to fly from Germany to the United States just to get a measurement.
Hell no, he's not going to do that shit.
But I mean, what he could do is he could come to the Olympia, and I have Mike winning the Olympia this year. So if Mike wins the Olympia while you're here, you're already going from Vegas. Why not just hit the East Coast and either hit Pittsburgh or hit Steve's gym, and then fly home from there? Get your height card. Just knock it out, But there's plenty of other guys that's good that's from overseas that it just wouldn't make sense to fly in. But again, I think it would be very beneficial for that class, that category.
Yeah, no, definitely gotta agree with that. And it's something you have to do it in person because you can't just send a picture. So you got to pull up. Well, let's see. Let me see. Oh, let's go. Wait, did we do? We did Tampa already, right? Did we do Tampa?
We did a little bit of Tampa. Yeah, we did that because I remember I only had like 2 days, so I had to fly back out. We did it on last Monday.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean it's not a whole lot different. There's a few new names, but your top guys was still kind of your top guys in Dallas. I mean, we had a few placings change, but I actually printed off like I've got the scorecards and shit right here because
there you go.
I was prepared to talk about it. Like I sat there and I basically analyzed every single athlete that walked across that stage. So I can't go into like detail or otherwise this will be a 4-hour long podcast. But like, I feel like, I wrote a couple of names down here. I put asterisks beside, and then, we could go through the top 10.
Did you watch 212 as well?
I did not go on Friday because they had it on separate days.
Okay.
But I already knew who was winning that, man. That little short dude from Brazil.
Bro. Holy
shit. He's crazy looking. But you know what's crazy about him is I feel like no matter who showed, that's him right there. Yeah, that guy.
Bro.
And I like that Kevin Levrone like arm shake. That's crazy.
Well, the funny part is I was just talking about that recently. I was like, people need to stop doing that shit because I was like, it doesn't look how you think it looks. With this guy, it actually looks.
He mimics it. Yeah, he does it good. But
Holy fuck! And he has a small waist, bro.
yeah, the only thing I can say with him is he is rather obviously he's on the shorter side.
Yeah.
Even though this guy is at complete perfection, it still won't beat Keon.
No, because Keon is at perfection, but his physique is literally the
Next
perfect.
level.
Yeah, he has the perfect physique. This guy has almost the perfect peak and has some of the bubbliest, most 3D looks I've ever seen. But the actual physique of Keon is already a 10 out of 10, and his bubbliness is a 10 out of 10, and he's just
Keon's
next
a much
level. Yeah.
like this guy. I haven't met him. Actually, I think I did see him. We didn't chit chat or anything, but
Uh-huh.
he is a little bit shorter. Keon's taller and he has a broader frame.
He's
I
wide,
think
very wide.
because of that frame and just Keon's structure, I hate to say it, as much as I love Sean and several of the other 212 guys,
They don't have a
there ain't
chance.
nobody getting past Keon.
No, Keon, legit. I remember. I think he was like in the high 190s. I saw him at Dragon's Lair, and I'm like, bro, you're wider than me, and I'm like 300 pounds at the minute. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. He's like 5'4". He was wider than me, and I'm looking at not even wider. He was bigger than me. Like I'm like,
I've shaken his hand before, and I think what helps him plays to his advantage, or sorry, to his advantage. Let me get my words straight here. He has very small joints.
yeah,
And obviously that makes the muscle bellies look bigger, but also his weight, that makes his weight lower, like
yes.
small bone density, low bone density. So therefore, he's able to carry so much muscle on that little frame that just he has no competition right now. He is his competition because if he shows up off, he can and will be beaten if he's off. But I also think between his own mindset, his girl pushing him, and Patrick in his corner, he ain't coming in off. He's on top, and he's on top to stay.
We talking about a men's physique waist with an open bodybuilding physique with classic physique posing, classic shape and classic posing with open bodybuilding muscle and men's physique waist. It's like you made it in a lab, Yeah. Now that being said, I don't think anybody besides Keon could actually beat this guy. Possibly, I gotta see how he looks next to the top guys. But the way he looks by himself, I'm looking here, I think he could get second.
I think he's going to be second, at worst, third place at the Olympia. And honestly, him and Sean, if Sean's legs kind of bounce back a little bit,
that's what I'm thinking. Though
Sean has like that grain train going. Like he's grainy. He's got the old man muscle. If Sean's going to have to control his midsection, which I think he's got that under control now, I don't think that's an issue. But if his legs have came back, and I think that was just Matt screwing things up last year. But I think now that he's with Boss, and I think, if Sean can show up, these two guys are going to battle second and third. That's your top three. But unfortunately, as much as I like this physique, as much as I like Sean's physique, they're not getting in that first place spot.
No. Yeah, this guy isn't grainy. He's bubbly.
He's bubbly, and it's just pretty to look at.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be like Phil Heath to like Phil Heath was never. Maybe when he was older, he started getting grainy, but Phil was more bubbly than a grainy guy. And then Sean has like a short Ronnie Coleman look, right? Like the graininess that the Ronnie had. But yeah, this guy's crazy. There's a page, I think it's Battle Up that had like the H8K stuff videos. Battle Up Productions, maybe. Media.
I'm sure. I actually stayed off of it all weekend because my attention was making sure that Joe, Paul, and Kevin was 100%. And I was like, I don't need to look at these other people. I don't got time for this. I got my clients, and I've got these three guys in front of me. I got to focus on this. So I actually stayed off Instagram for the most part. I would go on for like maybe 20 minutes a day to answer a couple of DMs. I even was able to get a couple of new clients, get their plans out, training programs and everything. So I was busy. I was busy as shit. I made sure to respond to everyone. So I had a great time. There's actually some it kind of reignited even more fuel to me to bodybuilding.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt like the old Justin again in a way.
Oh hell yeah. I
Like
mean, uh-huh.
it was a fun atmosphere. Like a lot of bodybuilding shows that I've been to, I go to it and I see it strictly as business.
Uh-huh.
And now, like I'm going to it, and yes, I'm still all business there, but I'm having fun again.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Like
I feel
sometimes when you see me and you're like, somebody's like, "Hey, Jess," I'm like, "Yeah, fuck." But now it's like, "Hey, man, come here." It's like, I don't even know you, but let's take a picture. Let's do the shit.
yeah, 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 yeah. But I feel like when you have this kind of fun, it definitely ignites something different. Yeah, but I think I want to go to the Olympia too. Oh, okay. I had a question. Does this guy look as impressive in person as he does on Instagram? Because I feel like he
Okay,
should.
so where he did 212s in Tampa, and he got
Uh,
second behind the guy that you just highlighted.
yeah.
In my opinion, I think he should have stayed at 212 because he was sharper there. He's fuller here, but he's not. He doesn't have as much etched out from the front. He looks better from the front in the open, but when he
Okay.
turns to the rear, I think he lost a little bit of that polish. But I will say he is incredibly impressive in person. And ironically enough, you can ask Joe about this yourself. I said, "You're going to win that most muscular award at the show. But this is the guy that could potentially take it from you. Like this dude here has a
Yeah.
lot of muscle on his frame and he's bubbly as shit." I was like, he's not going to beat you in the comparisons. But like, as
Yeah.
far as like just being freaky, he did bring that. But the thing is, I don't remember what his actual. Let me see where he placed that.
Placing right. Oh, I think he was in the second call out, which is very. I mean, for this lineup, second call out is right. Second call out is crazy in this lineup, especially
Hang
for a
on, what is his
212.
full name?
Oben Raxman.
Yeah, he got 12th.
Yeah,
But
I
that's one
mean,
thing, you know. Again, there's two guys, obviously Kareth, and I actually want to spend a little bit of time talking about Kareth in a minute.
okay.
But that does go to show you, like this guy here is freaky for 212. Like I think if he sucks back down to 212, I mean he can't really do the Olympia now unless he could do one of those overseas shows. Actually, I take that back. I say he can't do the Olympia. I know there's no more U.S. shows, but he may not be.
Oh,
Where do we
yeah, he's
got?
not from here. He's from
Yeah, he's
Dubai
not
anyway.
from here. He may be able to find a 212 show and qualify.
Oh
And
yeah.
all he's
Oh
got to
yeah,
do
for
is
sure.
find another one that the Tampa and the Texas Pro winner's not at, and he's going to get it. And
So
I can
okay,
realistically see this guy being top five, top six at the Olympia in 212.
I think that's the only reason why they went up to open because looking at this guy, you're like, there's no way this guy doesn't win a 212 show. He's going to win. And the whole time I was like, he's going to win the show. And this was before I saw the winner. I'm like, wait, he didn't win? I was like, this is bullshit. There's no way this guy didn't win the show. Nobody's going to beat this. And I saw the winner. I'm like, okay, you're
I
not
know,
winning.
right?
But
Yeah, this guy was freaky, man. I will say that. I saw him in Tampa. I saw him in Texas. I met him in Tampa. Like we spoke for a second. Uh, I don't. Am I? I know his real name, but like his coach here. Why the fuck
oh
am I
yeah,
drawing?
Jam,
Yeah,
Hassan Jama,
yeah. There you
Hassan
go.
Jama,
There you go.
Hassan
Like
Jama,
I'm
yeah,
sitting here trying to pronounce his Instagram name. I'm like, is it Jama or like I know his fucking
yeah,
real name. Like we chatted 2 or 3 times. I saw him in Tampa, saw him in Texas, but he told me about this guy. And I think he coaches him as well, right?
yeah. He coaches him.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that they bring it down to 212 and they put him in the Olympia because I would hate to not see this physique not come to the Olympia in the 212s because
I
he's
mean,
about. I'm gonna say he's about 5'4".
he's short.
Estimating. Yeah, he's not a tall guy. Five
Also,
four, maybe 5'5".
definitely should stay in 212 then because he looked huge in 212.
Yeah, I mean, if he can just get away from that guy that won Tampa and Texas, I mean,
Everybody needs to stay
no
away from
one's
that
gonna.
guy.
I mean, when he's on, man.
Yeah, I was scared he wasn't going to be in shape. That was the only thing. And then I saw he was in shape. I thought, oh, he's going to win. But
Now
yeah,
I
that
will
guy's
say this:
different.
he was in my like you can see these photos here. He
Uh-huh.
was in better shape in Tampa. Like I knew
Yeah.
coming up to open, I was like, if you bring the exact same 212 look, but just say compete in a different class, I was like, this guy's going to be really good. I said, but if you, I didn't say anything obviously because I never I never tell one coach how to do things. I don't even offer my opinion. Like we don't even talk about that kind of shit. We just talk friendly with each other. You know, we talk shop, talk bodybuilding, we catch up. We don't talk about one client or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I thought to myself, I was like, if he carbs him up to bring him in full, like I know with the way his muscle bellies are, he's going to look nuts full, but he's also going to lack that little fine tuned detail. And I will
For
say, I
sure.
don't think he had this in Dallas.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
estimate in Dallas, the guy was probably about 220. He was fuller, and he was bursting full when he came out, but I don't think he had the same detail in Dallas.
But see, but even here in shape, you can see kind of like the West African thing with the, even when you're like Quentin, even when you're in shape, they can be a spongy look to your skin if you're not careful, right?
Yeah, he's good. If he does the carbs too much, he'll smooth over.
Yeah, like for me, show day, I have to be almost like lower carb show day to just to keep the skin from getting that spongy look. It looks like full and impressive, but it doesn't look dry. You're in shape,
Yeah,
you just don't come across hard, you know.
yeah.
So you never want to gain weight from that point. If anything, you want to keep it. You should keep it pretty dry. But this,
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is impressive, man. I'm really impressed with this guy. But let's go to Karif, right? You said.
So yeah, like I said, I kind of made notes on a lot of guys here, but I'll talk specifically about Kareth before we get into them.
Uh-huh.
I will say they'll never be able to do this. Like they'll never be able to offer an award called like the most complete bodybuilder because it's like if the guy who don't win doesn't get the
Oh
most
shit!
complete award, people are going to be like, wait, what the hell? But
Yeah.
like Kareth,
Oh, he got.
I thought for a second he was going to go like open, like this was his thing, but I realized he's also qualified for the 212 Olympia. And I said, there's no way he's going to be carrying 220, 230 pounds of muscle. Like, he's probably going to be close to that. I said, either one, he's going to show up off. If he shows up off, he's not going to get a good look.
He
I'm
looks
going to go
better.
on limb and say Kareth is like 215, 217 here.
He looks phenomenal, though, man.
But no, yeah, he does in the pictures. But I'm telling you, in person, when he
Uh,
walks out by himself, he has a polish and a detail. Like he has the old man muscle that he did indeed have the most completed looking physique on the stage out of everybody that competed. Like every single person, he had the best overall package. But unfortunately, when you put him next to like all these other guys, I mean, Carrick finished seventh. And when you put him next to like the big boys, you can't overlook the fact that they're so much bigger than him.
this is true. But
Like
in the.
when he comes
Uh-huh.
out, like just the way he poses, the way he moves, like this is a true professional, and he has done absolutely everything he can to maximize his physique. I don't know anything else that he could, unless he's like actually 190 pounds, and I don't think he is. I think he's probably at the top of that division. I can't really see him improving anymore, but there's not a lot to work on. Like I said, he's gonna ultimately lose to Keon, and he's gonna ultimately lose to that guy that we just talked about. I don't think he can beat that guy,
Yeah.
but he could be. I could see him, and he was fourth at the Olympia last year. He may be able to move to third. I don't know, but I mean that's nothing to be
Possible.
bad. It's something to be ashamed of. Finishing third, top three in the world at what you do. It's just
Man,
that when he stands next to the bigger guys, he does kind of get a little like your eyes just they kind of go away from him at that point. But when he's by himself, it's pretty freaky. Not
but this
really.
says
I
a
don't even phrase that. Freaky's not the right word. It's actually like a kind of reminds
impressive.
me a little bit of a Sean Ray-ish look.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
different. Like how
yeah,
Sean Ray walked out and he had like a polish
yeah,
and
yeah.
like a flow with the way that he hit his poses. It reminded me of that.
Even even skin texture, like this is the opposite of the West African look. This is like
Yes.
this is like dry skin, a vascular, grainy looking skin, but not grainy in a way that doesn't look aesthetic and doesn't look. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It still looks clean. It doesn't look
Reminds me of
scary.
the 90s, man.
It does. I mean, Sean Ray, like you said it perfectly. Like there's a polish down to the tan, the complexion, the skin. Everything is just even like a Gaspari. I'm sorry, not Gaspari. Lila Brada. Like
Yeah.
the just the perfect polish balance. I don't see a weak body part on the guy. I don't see a
No,
weak
he
pose
has
on
no
the guy.
weaknesses. I mean, the only weaknesses is he's just a smaller frame guy.
Well, this at 5'10", I mean, is battling for the
Oh,
win
if
or
he
wins the
was like
show
5'10" to 6 foot and he had this same like look, a lot of people would be going home on this. They'd be going home disappointed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because you could argue Jordan wins off of balance and condition and polish as well, and this guy is, I mean, just as polished, just as maybe not just as conditioned, but just as polished, but rounder with less weaknesses, right? So, I
Yeah, I don't
mean,
see a weakness on Kareth.
yeah, that's impressive. Well, seventh place, first of all, seventh place in this lineup is fucking
Yeah.
incredible
Like if he would have done any show besides Tampa and Texas, he would have been a top three guy.
for sure. Well, look at the
Maybe
guy that he beat.
maybe even winning it,
I think
depending
so.
on who shows
Well,
up.
what shows have we had? I mean, he possibly could have won a show this year. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
think of
mean,
who qualified. I mean, he still can if he's willing to go to Europe. He could.
I know Sergio is going to be doing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Joe's
Was it
got me
French?
fucking spoiled with like the actual like something about when you go through a drive-through and you get a coffee like from Starbucks or Dutch Brothers or Dunkin' versus when you make it at your house, it's not as strong. So I'm sitting
Yeah,
here yawning because I've had like the strong coffee for like 5 days in a row, and now I'm back on pretty much brown
yeah,
water.
yeah. Basically. Okay. I was gonna say what I was gonna say about Karif. Yeah. Look at some of the guys he beat. If he's in seven, that means he beat some really big,
I mean, he
in
knocked
shape,
out
good
Stu,
guys.
he knocked out Patrick
Boom.
Moore, Morgan,
Olympian.
Justin Abbott.
Yeah. Big, straighted guys. These are guys who are very impressive, Shit,
I
I
mean,
mean, Patrick
he
Moore.
got Justin. I mean, the guy who finished 10th was Justin Savoy. I was going to talk about him in a little bit too, but like
Oh,
he's a
he
very large individual, and Kareth got ahead of him. And even when they stood side, I don't know if they stood side by side, but they were in the same call out. My eyes went over to Kareth and not Justin, and Justin's huge.
Let's talk about Justin because I'm very impressed. Like, he's abnormally tall, which usually doesn't work in your advantage, but he's pretty. I mean, as complete as you can get for that height. That's just
Uh,
not like no.
for his height, yes, but I also think he has a few holes still in his physique. It was like I don't think he made top. Did he make top 10 in Tampa? I'm getting confused here.
I think he might have. I think there's
I
a
thought it was like
chance.
right outside of it.
I think you're right, yeah, because I think Stu got ninth and maybe 11. Yeah, maybe like 11th, maybe like
Yeah,
11th.
I think it was that, and I may be wrong, and I apologize to him if I am wrong. But like
Sorry,
he caught
Justin.
my attention here at this show. He doesn't have like I don't want to say he has weaknesses, but he has areas like when you look at how big his quads is, and I think his quads were a little bit flat as well. They're huge, but I think the muscle bellies were a little flat. And he's not really that out of shape, Like when he turns around to the
No.
back, you'll see like he looks good. But what he's kind of reminds me of like the young, a keyword I need to point that out, the young Greg Kovacs before he
No.
screwed himself up. So like, see, there you go. Guy's pretty much in shape. But like
Yeah, yeah.
he's got a
Yeah,
very
sure.
big frame, but he still needs a little bit more work on the upper body. That's why I said he has some holes and some gaps to fill.
You
Because
got it.
pound for pound, this guy and Morgan, those are the two biggest guys in the show. But Justin just needs to, again, add a little bit more time up top.
If you're okay, if we're being completely realistic, man, if you're over the height of 6'1", you're never gonna be completely filled out. I don't think we're ever gonna see like Andrew Jack actually like filled out like fucking Phil Heath. Like I don't think it's
The
gonna
only guy I think that could that
okay, no.
was Freeman. Tony
Actually,
Freeman,
yeah,
the X-Man.
He was definitely actually more filled out than Andrew. Samson is a little shorter though, because Samson is my height. He's not over 6'1".
I
So
think Tony's right at like 6'1", 6'2".
yeah, yeah.
I mean, he towers over me,
Andrew
but
too.
I'm 5'9". I'm short. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't got to pull a Wes Watson and say I'm 6 foot.
Well,
I
yeah.
got to be on stilts to be 6 foot.
Same way. Like Andrew is legit at least 6'2". Like he's actually a very tall guy. This
Oh
guy,
no,
I
I
don't
saw
know.
him for the first time in Texas, and he's a big, very large man as well. Like it's funny because he was trying to wear dressy clothes for
I
finals,
saw. I
and I
saw.
hate to say it, but like he did, whoever did his wardrobe, they tried, but unfortunately, he's just too damn big to wear shit like that.
Bro, the video I saw, he was standing next to like huge guys. He was standing next to Quint. He was standing next to Amir, like people who I've seen in person, who are some of the largest people I've ever seen. And Andrew is standing there, and he's making them look like normal.
Yeah,
And it's like, holy fuck! And he's taller than Quint. I'm like, Quint is pretty tall, bro. Like he's, but
Andrew's probably 6'3" or 6'4". I mean, I got within like 10 feet of him.
yeah,
The only thing that
he's
really shocked me with Andrew is like I don't watch a lot of interviews, I don't watch a lot of podcasts and stuff, but for some reason, because of just how tall he is, how big he is, I expected him to have like this really
deep
deep
voice.
voice, and he doesn't have like he's got a very soft voice. And I was like, he spoke, I'm like, huh? Like the kind, it just like shocked me. But I mean,
It's
on the
funny.
flip side, I didn't expect Jay Cutler's voice. I just because I'm expecting a big guy to have that super deep voice, and he didn't, and it just kind of threw me off.
It's kind of fun. It's funny that Nate said the same thing yesterday. He heard Andrew talk for the first time. He's like, I expect his voice to be a little deeper than
Nate
that.
Spear.
No, my friend Nate.
Oh,
Nate,
your roommate. Yeah, I got
yeah,
you.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he heard his voice for the first time. He was like, I expect it to be a little deeper. He is pretty soft, and he speaks really like low and calm as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah, very calm and collective.
but yeah, okay. So this guy in person, he's like 6'3", right? He's a lot taller than everybody.
I didn't get that close to him, but I would say he's well over 6 foot. So yeah, I could see 6'2" to 6'4" range.
Well, if he's saying that he's 302 compared to, yeah,
I would say,
he was,
yeah, he's got to be in
yeah,
that 6'2", 6'4" range, somewhere 6'3". Yeah,
but also if you're tall with big legs, you're gonna weigh a lot because you remember Antoine wasn't that tall and he weighed a lot because the legs because
yeah, one had huge legs.
yeah, but honestly, I was impressed with this guy just because I didn't expect his legs to be that good at that height. But you've noticed it's one or the other. If you're tall, either you have the lower or you have the upper, but you don't see like everything filled out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
okay.
the thing is with him, I actually think he's a rookie as well, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I can see this guy over the next 2 to 3 years. And the only reason I say 2 to 3 years is because he's so big, and we know it takes the big guys longer to fill that frame out.
Sure.
I would say 2 to 3 years we'll be revisiting this and potentially looking at him as more of a contender.
I agree. Now the good sign is that he's gotten significantly bigger than when he turned pro, which is a great sign because if he didn't, then that would show that he's going to have a really tough time adding size.
Yeah.
But if you add 10, 15 pounds at 5'8", it looks a lot different than you had 10,
Yeah.
15 pounds.
Like this is going to sound crazy, but for this guy to step up and win shows, what did you say he was? 302? Yeah,
He was.
302.
Yeah,
Like this is going to sound crazy to say, but like he needs 20 to 25 to win shows.
I agree.
And that sounds ridiculous to have someone 325 pounds on stage. So maybe he really is like a 6'4" guy. And that being said, if he's listening, my suggestion, just because of that much mass and that much weight, if he chooses to go that route, man, so if he wants to win shows, he's got to be bigger. Make sure this is good. Make sure you're not putting too much stress on that because that at 320 on stage, it's going to be a 360-pound man in the off season.
Do you think that's a lot and healthier than being shorter, or do you think it evens out because of the height?
I think, well, I don't know. That's a really good question. But like, I
Nobody's
just
tried.
find if we look back in history, like look at Kovacs. You know, Kovacs was one of the biggest guys,
Yeah,
and he died of congestive heart failure. And he was like a
yeah.
400-pound off-season bodybuilder. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, it really. I mean, historically, larger men don't live longer lives. We're not talking about bodybuilders, but just as a whole, as a
General.
population, like
Right.
average and smaller guys tend to live longer. So I just feel like at his height, frame, structure, shit, you know what if I would do if I was him? Because he's so damn big, I'd be trying to get into Hollywood somehow. He'd always make the bad guy in the movie, like just to be like the villain. Kind of
What?
like Martin Ford, you know. Unfortunately, don't do the real tattoos on your face, but like put some tattoos on this guy and make him the villain in the movies, and have him just pick somebody up and throw him over top of like a rooftop or something. Like he could be. I don't know if he has the acting skills. That's a whole different story.
Well, the funny part is, I was actually just gonna bring up Jamie Johal or
Yeah, yeah,
Christian.
yeah.
So
Jamie the
so
Giant, right?
yeah, Jamie Giant. So he had the same. He used to make the YouTube video. I used to watch it. So he had the same choice to make. Once again, they said, "Hey, I think Milo saw him. He said, listen, I hate to have to tell you this, but you're gonna have to be about 330 pounds on stage." And then
Yeah,
he has kids, a
very
wife.
good.
So he's like, he believed he could do it, but he's also older. I don't know if you knew this, but he was like close to 40. He was like 38, maybe.
He aged well. I'll give him that. I didn't
Yeah,
think he was that
he
old.
is. And he's gonna keep aging great now because he did what you said. He's in the new what's that show? The Gladiators. They're coming out with a new one.
Jamie's doing that.
Yeah, he's
For him. For
perfect
him.
for it. I'm sure he's making a lot more money, and he
Oh, I'm
doesn't have,
sure.
and he
But
can
if
cruise.
someone would ask me,
Mhm.
I'm going to say this: if someone would ask me in my prime, "Hey, we're going to bring like Justin, we really like you. We want to bring you to Hollywood and put you in some movies," I would have walked. I would have walked away.
At that time, right?
At that, even
Yeah,
like if someone would have pulled me 3 days out from the Olympia and said, "Hey, Justin, screw this Olympia. Like, if you could come out here right now and just like, we're gonna go ahead and make you like you may not be the number one star, but you're gonna be the bad guy, and you're gonna get multiple other roles." I probably would have been like, "Hey, telehealth doctor, can I get a thing that says like my arm is broken or something that way I can get out of doing this show?"
yeah.
Like,
But
sorry guys, I'm going to Hollywood, leaving Vegas.
wait, but you're saying you would do that now, but at your prime, when you were younger, you wouldn't have.
No, I'm saying I would have in my prime.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
did get an offer. Hold on just a second, man. My
Uh-huh.
little Frenchie's running around. I think he needs to go out. Give me just a
All right,
second.
but yeah, no problem.
Should we go out? Come on. Sorry about the bus. So
Everybody's
I'm making
done.
myself a mess, so I'm getting him out in time. But he's the older one, man. So when he comes up and says, like, if he comes up to me, he needs something.
He's serious.
He's
How
not he's
old?
not looking for attention. He needs to go out.
How old is the Frenchie?
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
when my parents got him, they were told that he was like 3, and we all looked at him. And we were like, "That dog's not 3." So he had to have his surgery earlier this year. And when I took him in, I asked the vet, I said, "How old do you think he is?" And she goes, "He's not under 10. I can tell you that."
God
But
damn.
I know, right? But he's actually like very active, energetic. I'm like, "Hey, I'll take it, man. I'm good."
I didn't know Frenchies could live to 10. I gotta be honest.
They can go like 13 to 15. And honestly, I think this little turd can do it.
Holy shit, damn.
So, I mean, he's great. I mean, he gets along with the other dogs. Very well house trained. He's never really had an accident. He's a little bit food aggressive. I will say that. Like he gets mean if you get too close. Well, not with me, but if the other dogs get too close while he's eating,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
don't like it. He'll fight
I,
too. He will legit fight.
I love Frenchie. I've never had one though. I'm just scared of the. Yeah, but I think before I got my bully, I talked to you about that between a bully and a Frenchie. And you told me that the Frenchie is gonna be a lot more to deal with health
There's
wise.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
They can be. They can. I got lucky. I've got 2 that doesn't have like major health problems, but oftentimes they do.
What the fuck? This guy looks fucking 25. What the fuck is it? He's getting younger.
You know what's crazy is I find that, I hate to admit this, but I'll just speak the facts of what it is. Like, if you were to talk to me when I was younger and said, hey, man, steroids is aging you, I'd be like, fuck you. Fuck you again. But, like, looking back at it, when I retired that first year, I looked like I gained 10 years of youth. And I remember seeing, like, look at Dennis Wolf, man. Dennis looks much younger now. I saw Chris Tuttle I saw Chris Tuttle 2 weekends in a row. I wouldn't guess Chris to be over 30, and I think he's around my age. So, it's like we all, I don't know if it's the muscle, if it's the water retention that we hold or what, but like
something,
there is a thing when you retire, you typically do look younger. I mean, I did not want to admit that, and I don't know if it was my ego or I just couldn't see it, but now I don't care. I just call a spade, and to be fair about it, yeah, it can make you look older. Much muscle. Sure. I don't know if it's muscle or steroids or both, but like something about being huge makes you look old.
Yeah, this is true. There was a year that I took off a year, and I looked like I was 19 again, basically.
Yeah.
So that happened. But yeah, this is right here. They started, I guess. Looks like WWE.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, he could do WWE, actually.
But yeah, like I wasn't, I don't have any like talent like that to do any Hollywood, but I did get an offer. I got an offer to play the Craig Titus role. They did a documentary on him, and for one, I didn't like it. I was like, man, I don't want to make like a Hollywood debut as the villain, right? But then But the thing is, and I actually wish I would have taken this role now. And even if it didn't go anywhere, I wish I would have taken the role. Rob Ewells ended up getting it. But at the time, the director do what?
I know Rob Ewells. He's from the East Coast guy.
Yeah, he's an East Coast boy. Yeah. Me and Rob competed together a couple of times actually when we were amateurs. He beat me once, and then I beat him for the pro card afterwards.
Oh, there we go.
But Rob got the role, and I don't know what they paid him. I didn't ask him any questions, but like back then, I didn't understand that like sometimes there's a bigger picture than now, and you got to think about what could happen later. And what I mean by that is what the guy offered me. Essentially, he wanted to fly me out for like a week. And the first thing he asked me says, do you have any friends in LA? And I said, yeah, I got a few. Why? Well, we're on a low budget. Like, we want to know maybe if you could stay with a friend or something. I'm like, you want to fly me out for a role and you don't even want to pay for my fucking hotel? Like, I already knew this was going south. And then basically he told me he was going to pay me $250 a day. I was like, great. So, like, you want me there for, like, if I'm there for 7 days, I'm making less than $2,000. And I just point blank told the guy, I said, I can go guest pose and make $3,000 to $5,000, and I'm done in 10 minutes. I said, me coming out to do this role, you're going to cost me a week of training because I know it's going to be 8 to 10 hour days, 12-hour days. You ain't going to give me the time to stop and eat my food, my meals, so you're going to throw my lifestyle off, give me a little minor setback, and all for what? Like a measly. And he said, we may be done in 4 days, it may take 7. I'm like, so you don't want to pay. I was like, man, I'm not doing this shit for $1,500. Like, you can kiss my ass. Like, I didn't say that to him, but like, I was truly insulted that he wanted me to do a Hollywood role for $1,500, and he acted like it was too much money to pay for the flights and the hotels. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you don't need to be a director. You don't need to be in the film industry. Maybe he did have the money. He just thought, oh, he's a meathead bodybuilder. He's stupid. Maybe that's what he thought, but yeah, that didn't happen. So, yeah. Ironically, they were going to call Dallas next. And I called Dallas myself, and I kind of cut him off at the pass because they were looking for a 300 or close to 300-pound blonde bodybuilder. So I called Dallas. I was like, hey, man, they're going to call you on this. Yeah. I said, he's going to offer you like $1,500. As soon as he calls Dallas like, what's the pay? And he told him the same thing. He's like, nope, not interested to buy.
Right,
Like
that's
we're
it.
not going to go out there and work our ass off for a week because I can imagine these guys are not going to be nice to you. Like you fuck this up, cut. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not going to yell at me and treat me like shit and then pay me nothing. No.
Shit. I mean, living in LA, I've gotten every single prep. It always happens in prep when I can't, I could, but I don't want to do it because the pay isn't that good. But what I will say is, I know people who've done it regularly, and once you become the regular guy, you get better opportunities. But this takes a span of years. Brad Rowe did it. There's a bunch of guys that do it. Once you
Yeah,
become in a regular rotation, you do start getting some decent pay. It's just that, imagine 6 weeks out. Hey, you want to come here,
yeah.
sit in the van for 8 hours? I'm like, even thinking about that stresses me out. I'm like, there's no way I can do it. I'm gonna be horrible. I'm gonna be in a bad mood. It just won't work. Part
In
of me wishes
hindsight, I wish I would have done it, even for
me
the
too.
$1,500, just because like it could have. I
Connections.
mean, I'm talking like I had about a 1/4% chance of making it in Hollywood. Like that's
Yeah.
my chances. I probably had a greater chance of getting struck by lightning before I got a second role, but I still wish I would have done it just to add to my resume. I
Well,
see that now, but I was being a greedy shit back then.
some of these guys like get like full time pay. There's guys that make a full time
Yeah,
pay, and
yeah.
it's not like
Brad
it
got
doesn't.
paid well, from what I was told.
Yeah, yeah. There's a guy Luca out here that he makes full time pay, and it's not like he says one word. It's not like speaking lines. So I'm not an actor. I don't want to be an actor, but one word lines, just being a big guy, I could do that all day, no problem.
Yeah.
You know, I can do that.
I mean,
So yeah,
in that case, I was gonna have to choke a girl out and fucking set her on fire in a car. But like, there's not a
you know
lot.
that.
There's not a lot of speaking and acting really with that.
No, it's just action, just action, man. Yeah, no. Honestly, part of me wishes that I would have just done it, sucked it up. Couldn't have been that bad, But I just in the moment, I just can't, I
Yeah.
just can't think straight. Right.
And that's the thing, is that was the same with me. Like I treated my off seasons just as strictly as I did my preps. So I just couldn't get over the fact that like if you're going to cost me a week of bodybuilding and you're going to take that away from me, you're going to compensate me for this. And the fact that they didn't really want to do that, I couldn't do it, man.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Let me see if we got some 8K footage. Let's go more towards the top of the lineup now. Oh, I
I
don't
do
even know if I
want to
watched
point
this
out a
one.
couple of other guys though before we get there.
Okay, yeah.
Just before we get to that top of it, just to
Mm-hmm.
speak about them. I hadn't seen Matt Kuba around in a bit, and he actually looked really good here, but just unfortunately, he was a little undersized. But like I've always liked Matt's look.
Let's see.
And then Paul did the Open too, right?
Oh, yeah, he did, right? Okay, okay,
And
because
they
he did
actually had
last season.
Paul like in the very last call out, and I'm not saying that he should have beaten some of these guys, but there was some of them he should have. Like, um, the only knock I could have given Paul against some of them was maybe a little bit on the skin, but like some
Okay.
of the guys in that very last call out just was not in shape, and Paul was in shape.
He
And he
was in
doesn't
shape, yeah.
have like a bad shape. His back could be better. Obviously, that's his weakest point, is his back. But like I thought, I mean, did I have him in like the top 10? No. Just being point blank honest, no. That was like, I think Paul's goal, well, I know we talked about it. He wanted to make second call outs. And I said, well, it's going to depend on who's there, obviously. And we didn't
Yeah.
make second call outs with it, but he did look good. He did look sharp. And then the other guy, I met the Australian guy. He popped up, Christian Caldwell. Like, Christian needs just a little bit more time, but I just met him. He's a really genuine, nice guy, like one of the nicer people I've met, him and his wife. And, we have a lot of, like, as bodybuilders, you have a lot of acquaintances, but not a lot of, like, true, like, genuine people, right? You know that. You've been around for a while.
Right.
And I feel like this guy is just very genuine and just happy to be here, man. Like, I liked him a lot. Like I said, his physique needs a little bit more time, a little bit more work, but he did look good. But just this was a deep ass lineup. It was deep as hell.
Yeah. Where's he from?
Australia. As soon as he spoke, I
Oh,
knew. Like, as soon as he said hello to me, like, I knew he was from Australia. Most people can't tell the difference between the Australian and the British accent. Or
yeah,
Australia, I knew him instantly.
yeah.
And then Morgan was huge too. He didn't,
Oh, I like
Morgan
Morgan.
was 14th.
But he didn't shake too.
Yeah, and I actually told him he hit a. We were backstage talking about like signature poses, like
God damn.
like a lot of guys have like a signature pose that's
Uh,
like like I used to do like kind of like a crucifix pose.
yeah, yeah,
I modified it. I didn't steal it like the Sergio Olive style. I kind of had my own version of it,
yeah.
and
It's
I
crazy.
really liked that pose on myself. But he did like a most muscular that like obviously he's not Phil Heath. Yeah, like that one. It kind of reminded me a little bit
Oh,
about Phil Heath. You know
the
how Phil would pull
transition.
that leg back and I tried it too, but like Morgan actually may have pulled it off a little better than me.
I
But
tried
I
to.
like that style. It's not good for prejudging, but when you can throw that into your individual or into your routine, I think it looks awesome. I think Phil was not the OG of that pose.
Kevin
Levrone
O'Brien.
was,
Yeah,
but Phil made it
yeah.
look better. Sorry, Kevin, but Phil was better because Phil had freaking arms.
Bro, but that suppose is hard. It's hard to pull off, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Then you
there was a
got
time.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but you got 11th. Yun, the Asian guy.
Oh yeah, I like that guy. I
I
don't
had
even
a
know how to
chance
spell his name.
to, I was like physically up close and around him. I didn't speak to him because I wasn't sure if he spoke English and I just didn't want to make an ass out of myself and make things awkward.
Oh,
Uh,
how do you spell his name? I'm sorry.
YUN space long.
Let's see, space. Oh, there you
Yeah, I
go.
think he just passed. His last name is Penn.
Okay, there you go. Right here.
If I'm not mistaken, he came from go up. Doesn't it say 212? Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah.
came in
Last
212
year,
guy.
he was 212 just last year.
Structurally, he's amazing. Structurally.
Yeah.
And I know a
Yes.
lot of people when they saw like those Gilco shots, like I think this is Gil. No, this is
Oh my God, he was so much smaller. Look at him. I mean, his legs are huge, but this is 212. Holy
yeah.
shit.
And the thing is, I hate to say this, he's still too small. He's way too small for the open, but the
Yeah.
potential
Is there?
is pretty unlimited. Like he can go a long ways. The real question is, and I've been using this term quite a bit the last couple of days. So anyone that's been around me, I apologize for that. But the ceiling, we all have a ceiling. How far can you go? How high can you get? Like when I say ceiling, he has a structure that's almost unbeatable. Like you see this waistline, like the way his
Yeah.
abs insert, but
Yeah.
can he put on enough muscle to hang with the freaks? That's
That's
the
the
question.
tough.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you if this guy eats 1,500 calories or 10,000 calories. I don't know if he's using 500 tests or 5,000 tests. I don't know jack shit about him. But if he has the wiggle room and the genetics to be able to be like bigger, this guy could be a problem in the future too. But and, people were saying he got screwed, he got robbed. How did he not place in the top five like at Tampa? I was at both shows, guys, and this is coming firsthand. I have 23 years of bodybuilding experience under me now, and he looks amazing. He's just not big enough. That's just it. Like there's no structural flaws, just not big enough. He could be a little
Yeah.
harder, but the thing is, if he got a little harder, I think he would be even smaller,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then he would just be overlooked furthermore. He would be kind of like Kareth, but not as good as Kareth.
Yeah. Well, we talked about last time. Sometimes to fix conditioning, what you really need is more muscle, right?
Yes, yes. Like you can bring, yeah. Well, that was on the last podcast, but I won't jump into it. But then
Now,
Patrick Moore, man, like Patrick looked good, but it's also the same. It's been kind of the same story with Patrick.
yeah.
Him and
Sorry.
Chris Aceto nailed it one year when they went to the Olympia.
He still wasn't big,
And
but he looked good.
Patrick's got big ass arms in person. They're much bigger in person than look like online because I saw him walking around backstage.
Shoulders
But
too.
conditioning,
Oh, he
it's
was.
just he's not hard enough. Like Patrick's got a pretty good amount of muscle on his body, and he's got the shape. He's just not got the density, and it's a hardness. Like that shape is hard to overlook for me. Like, but
But
I will overlook it without the conditioning factor. His legs look to be a little bit down here, but like even with his legs being down, he has like a just excellent flow. But he's just that
oh
kills him right
yeah,
there, man.
yeah. No, you
That
can't do
kills
that. You
him.
can't. But if he was in Joe condition, he would. Well, I can't say he would be smaller, but he actually probably wouldn't look smaller because um sometimes when you're softer, you actually look smaller. Because this is not. This
Yeah,
is
he's a
not.
guy. If I'm not mistaken, he's a little on the older side, right?
Yeah, he's in his 40s, man.
Yeah,
I
and
think he's
that's
like
the thing.
41.
I don't know if Patrick has it in him to add another 15 or 20 pounds. Like it's, I mean, that may be just asking too much to do that at his age.
Okay, would
But
you?
actually, when I found out that he was, I didn't no idea that this guy was a boxer.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
clue up
yeah.
until he got into that fight. So I like him for that because obviously, I'd much rather watch boxing as to watch MMA or judo or anything like that. Like I love boxing, so like I feel
Boxing
like
is
I could
awesome.
sit down and talk to this guy for like hours just about boxing, and
Did
I
you
don't even
get?
know him.
Did you get a chance to talk to him at all?
I didn't, man. I
Okay.
could see he was like busy going back and forth, and obviously, I've been in those shoes. I know what it's like, and I don't know if his coach told him to do this. Maybe he's getting late. I don't know. I was like, I'm not going to interrupt the guy. Like he made eye contact. I made eye contact, but he was on the move. And
Okay.
again,
Yeah.
being in that position, I'm not the fanboy that's going to slow you down. I want you to be at your best, bro. Go do what you need to do, man. Knock it out. So
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
didn't stop to talk to him.
Would you stay? Would you say this statement is true or false? Um, everybody. Well, I guess not everybody, but every bodybuilder can add the tissue they need to add as long as they're willing to do what they need to do, which could mean potential health risks, could mean so many things, digestive issues, it could be financial, but there's always a way to add the tissue as long as you're willing to take whatever, or you no, you believe some people can't get the fat.
I truly do believe, just because I have like a lot of, I've got a lot of people, I want to say some friends and some acquaintances that I've known for 10, 15 years now. And I know their gear's good. And I can speak on a couple of them because we used to use the same source when I was
Yeah.
competing. And I know they're using enough, and I've physically seen them train. I know they train balls at a fucking wall and they can get in shape. But like, look at guys like me. When I learned how to eat right, learned how to train right, and took just even a little bit of gear, I blew up. And then when I took a little bit more gear, next thing you know, I'm at the Olympia level. There's
Yeah.
like that when people say there's no such thing as a hyper responder, that just tells me that they suck. Like I hate to say that, but if you don't believe in hyper responders and you
You don't
think that
get it.
that's fake and that's not reality, I'm sorry, bro. Your genetics fucking suck that you can't do it. Like
Yeah.
I'll just be a flat out dick about it. But like everyone has a cap. I
For
feel
sure.
like theoretically, like if you took Patrick and you put him beside or like say you took it, let Ronnie and Dorian work with him, he's not going to be as big as Ronnie and Dorian. No matter what drugs he takes, no matter how hard he trains, no matter what food he eats. Now, could he be better? Yes. I do not think this is the best version that he is right now. I think we could still see a better version. But as far as like muscularity goes, think about Ronnie. I don't think Ronnie had any myostatin in his body, just to
I
be
don't
honest.
believe so. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that plays a role as to how big you're actually going to get because we've all seen, and I know you've seen this working with people, take two guys at 5'9", one guy's taking X amount of gear, next guy's using twice as much gear, but yet he's nowhere near. Like I won't say his name, but we both know a guy right now who started his prep and ended his prep at the same weight.
Exactly.
And obviously that response was there.
Yeah. Well,
And that ain't normal. That's just not normal. Like, and there's people out there that can do that, but that's not normal. And those are the ones that will be elite one day.
And even what you said once you got on point with training and diet a little bit, you may get. Some people don't even need to be on point. Being completely honest, like with Nate, even not on point, he still outgrows how he outgrowing me by far. I mean, and so it's like some people they're on a different level of genetics that they could do everything wrong and they'll still grow faster than you. You know?
For example, man, when I was a teenager, when I first got like a little bit of acknowledgement, not from the bodybuilding community, but from like local kids and like high school stuff, right? I went from 14 to 15 and I put on like 30 pounds over the course of like maybe 6-7 months. And I know anybody listening to this is going to say, you're a liar, you're full of shit, blah, blah, blah. I don't care what you said, man. I know exactly what happened. But I put on like 30 pounds and I got harder. And I trained hard, but I didn't know how to train like a specific muscle. I just lifted weights. That's it. Like I remember taking 2 50-gallon barrels, and I made a squat rack out of that. Like that's what I did in my parents' basement because I'm watching this stuff online on bodybuilding.com. And all I knew back then, because I didn't have the time to, no one can learn bodybuilding in a week, a month, or a year. That's time. Like the top coaches, all of us, it's an accumulative. It's years of accumulative knowledge that's come to get to that point. But I remember doing that, and I was eating peanut butter sandwiches, drinking like a half a gallon of whole milk a day, 2 or 3 Hungry Man dinners, pancakes, sausage, toast.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I put on a lot of muscle. Try that with most people. They don't gain muscle. They just get fat.
Exactly.
So
something. Yeah.
When I was younger, even in my 20s, all the way even to the end of my career, when people would tell me that you got good genetics, dude, it would make me so mad. I wanted to fight them. Like I wanted to get so mad because I felt like they're saying, well, you look good because of your genetics. But I'm like, because once I learned how to bodybuild, I was all in. Like I started getting my shit right. You know, like I knew exactly what to eat. Like I was the guy, you could ask Joe Bentley, like when me and him were at a store one time doing an appearance, I got mad because I ordered like 8 ounces of I think it was tilapia, and I got 8.1. And I was like, fuck. I was like, can anybody know how to use a fucking scale? Like I was so meticulous on everything I did, from training, sleep, what little I could. I tried. I did what I had to do. I took drugs that I don't recommend other people take. I don't recommend my clients take this. I'm like, go to a doctor, get your shit right. But I did what I had to do, and I did everything so strategically that when people would say genetics, I'm just like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. Like, you have no idea how hard I'm working and the effort I'm putting in to get to this level for you to just belittle me and tell me it's all genetics. But now that I'm older, I realize I'm not discounting my work ethic, because I still think I outworked 99.9% of the crop, which is why I got to where I was at.
Yeah.
But I did have good genetics. I didn't understand that at the time because I knew I was working my ass off, but I didn't understand that like there is other people that work hard too, and they just didn't get the same results.
For sure, yeah.
But like I would literally get like, I've actually like got mad and cussed at people when they start talking about genetics. Like, dude, I'd get very upset.
Yeah.
Like, because I felt like when they would talk about steroids or genetics, and they're discounting all the other work that I'm putting in, it literally just made me want to snap someone's head off.
Well, because the majority of people fall more in the mid-range. The opposite extremes aren't as common. Like the guy that does everything right and is 150 pounds, or the guy who does everything wrong that's 200 pounds, those are more outliers. So most people fall within the mid-range. So when most people talk to you and they bring up genetics so much, it's annoying because you haven't even tried. You don't even know what your genetics are.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, I don't know. What do you think my genetics? I'm like, bro, how would I? You just started, bro. Yeah,
And that's what
I don't
I
know.
told you. Get it? I get it. When you have like a young guy, it's like, what do you think of my genetics? I'm like, look, if you saw me at 135 pounds, you would have never thought I would have made it to the Olympia level. I
Yeah,
mean, to
yeah,
be honest with you, when I started working with Joe, I said, okay, I know we're going to win the cow. Did
hmm
I think we're going to end up where I knew he had heart from day one. I knew
yeah,
that,
yeah,
but I didn't know how far we would make it, and I still don't know how far we're going to make it. Like
yeah,
he's still
yeah,
got so much left in the tank. He's still fresh.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
so, let me think of some of these other guys here. Like John Jewett. Whenever I met John about 10 years ago, I didn't think John would be competing for 11th place at the Olympia, and he did it. He's been
Yeah.
top five. John's never really out of the top five in anything
He's
except the
always
Olympia.
there. Yeah.
So, I didn't think that. But when you look at someone like, now, this is not a bash. I'm going to praise him here in a minute. But
Uh-huh.
you see Quint and you're like, genetics, this guy's going to go to the top. And he's not there yet. He's not
Yeah.
been at the Olympia yet.
The
So, you
crazy
can't
times.
look at someone's physique and say they have good genetics or bad genetics until they actually truly apply themselves.
Shit, the one who won Jordan, when Jordan won USA's, bro, people were almost like, he won fair and square, but they're like, bro, this is the overall winner. They're like, look, no arms. He's a heavyweight, but he's like 5'11". What the people bashed him, and I'm sure he remembers that because I'm sure he didn't forget that
I
shit.
don't remember people bashing him. Like, I thought he had a good physique. It just needed more work.
I think people thought he was under muscled and he didn't have any showy body parts, right? But I mean, that's going to happen every year. Every year, somebody's going to say, every year the Nationals are going to be worse, right? Like, in people's heads, at least.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
always say it. It's usually the older guys that saying that too, right?
Yeah, it's always terrible, no matter what happens.
But
But I didn't think.
speaking of USA's though, like Stu was kind of the next one moving up the list, and I think with Stu, what did he get? Ninth? No, he got eighth at this one. I think he was ninth in Tampa.
Let me pull up Stu.
Stu just needs to. And I did speak with Stu for like 15 or 20 minutes, and we didn't talk too much about bodybuilding. We talked about a couple other things, but
Uh-huh. Let me put up Stu.
I think with Stu, I don't know what I didn't talk about what he takes or what he eats. I really don't. Again, I don't talk about that shit with other bodybuilders really.
Uh-huh.
But like, if he can replicate, is that the New York? Hang on, go up. What's that second photo there? Was that the New York Pro?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
that was
today.
one of his better looks, and he just has
24.
I don't know if it's a peaking issue or what, but like Stu's not like a second call out bodybuilder.
No,
Like
no.
he's been second call outs this year, and I don't think he got the proper looks last year either. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying he got screwed. I didn't say that. I think that Stu just has not hit that mark again. Like, and when he does, he's going to be right up there in the mix. First, second, third place is all his for the taking, depending on who's there. I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to be Mr. Olympia,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he can be at the Olympia. That's a guarantee.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he's just got to hit that mark. And I think because he gets lean fast, I think his preps need to be shorter. And that's actually one thing we did very, very vaguely speak about.
Yeah.
And because I like Blue and I respect Blue, so I'm never going to be that guy that's like, well, I'll throw Matt under the bus. Matt used to always try to offer insight to people. Like, I'm not that guy. I am not going to poach nobody from anyone. Like,
You gotta be careful, yeah.
and I didn't even attempt it. I talked to Stu man to man, not coach to bodybuilder, just one on one.
Yeah.
But he knows that
Or,
Stu will be there. But I mean, right now he was just a tiny bit off at this show and Tampa. Like, there's something just he didn't have this look. When he replicates this look, he's going to be back in that first call out.
one thing I learned about Stu's body is whatever issue you think he's having on stage that makes him not look good, even if it looks like conditioning or dryness, everything to him is fullness. It's all fullness. If Stu is full, I was in the hotel with him that was the cow. And after his last meal at night, he looked like the winner of the show because he's so full. Now he has some distension because he just ate 6 meals. But you take away that distension and you bring that look, he might have won the show. But in the morning, he didn't look like that. So it's like for him, once he goes flat, everything else doesn't matter. He doesn't look like he's in the same shape. You know he's lean. You know Stu is lean 8 weeks out, so
I
Stu is not
know.
fat. But he doesn't. Okay, I thought I'll pull this up, right? So you see the picture we just looked at, and now you look at this. He actually doesn't look. Okay, there's no body fat, right? It's not like he has fat, but he doesn't look as hard here as we've seen him. Now, like once again, there is literally no fat on his body, but he's on the flatter side for Stu. He's still big, obviously. He has the muscle, but when he's really full, he looks tighter. Actually, you know, I I don't know. I mean, at this point, he could die for
I'm
six
assuming
weeks.
here he's very full because see how his glutes are a little bit more detailed on the left. His lower back is
Exactly.
more detailed. Is that
It,
because, like, I didn't see him the night before? Is that because he does get very full and the muscle pushes against the skin?
exactly. So if you show this to a
Because
judge,
he's
they'll be
obviously
like,
bigger on the right, but he's just not as dense.
exactly. If you show this to a judge, they will be like, he's not in shape. Whereas because I know him, I saw his glutes already better than this further out. So I know he didn't add body fat at the end, right?
Was
So
that shit? I'm gonna have to go get a real coffee again. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Paul. You know, screwed me on that one. But was was that picture from the cow last year?
yeah. This was the Cal
Oh
in
man, so
24.
he
Yeah,
actually did add, like when you look at the adductors and the hamstrings,
he is
he
bigger.
actually
Yeah.
added a good amount of size. I don't know if there's a big scale difference, but there's a good amount of size difference there.
Well, he said that was the game plan. He said because he's down the middle, right? He's not the aesthetic guy. He's not the mass guy. He's not the shredded guy. Everything is kind of down the middle. So he wants to push something to make him stand out, which he figured size would be the thing. And he did add the size.
I
You
wouldn't
see
say
it.
Stu's not aesthetic though. I mean, he may not be the most aesthetic guy, but I think that's the card that he can play because he's tall. He's got smaller hips,
Uh,
narrower obliques. I think that's the card I would play with him.
not that he's not aesthetic, but like let's say he's at 8 out of 10 across the board, right? So
Yeah.
like it's not like there's one thing is like whoa he's the biggest guy on stage. He's close to it though actually, but yeah, there's no one thing that just jumps like okay this is the like with Joe this is the most peeled biggest guy. Right, or you say Quint, this is the best shape structure by far, like something that just jumps out on you, right? So it's almost like I feel sometimes he gets missed because there's not this one body part or custom, but yeah, he's definitely bigger. So as long as he looks like this, as far as conditions, fullness, and everything, I think he'll be fine. You know, it seems like a bad season, but he didn't regress. I don't believe he regressed. I just
No, I
think
don't think so. I think he missed the mark.
yeah. So shout out
But
Stu. He'll be back.
moving on up, we already talked about Kareth, and I gave Kareth my praise on that one. But
Hmm.
Bruno, I kind of go with these guys at the same time. Bruno and Amir, they at prejudging, Amir was not in the first call out. And
No, right.
I mean, I think he probably could have went seventh to eighth. I think they had him in the eighth or ninth position at prejudging.
Okay.
Um, I don't really think he improved a lot from prejudging to finals, just to be honest. I think Bruno slipped a little between prejudging and finals because I think
Mhm.
Bruno has a much better physique than Amir. Like
He
Amir
does.
brings density. That's what he's known
Oh
for. If
shit.
Amir's not in shape, Amir's not winning. Like
Let
Amir's
me.
out when like at Tampa, I think he was a little off on the conditioning. I mean, off for him anyways, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
this guy's always shredded, but like off for him. And if he doesn't bring that razor sharp, hard conditioning, he's not going to be in the mix because he's not a mass monster. He's not this, how we're talking about going down the middle? He
Yeah.
doesn't,
Yeah.
he's not the
Yeah.
mass monster. He's not the Mr. Aesthetic. He's not like the prettiest bodybuilder on stage, but his calling is conditioning. And if he can bring the conditioning, then he's going to get, a fair look. But with Bruno, I seen a lot of comments on this, and people were saying, "Well, what's the judge's obsession with Bruno?" And I'm like, and most people, I saw a couple of people say like, if you meet him in person, he's so compact and he's dense, he's hard, he's in shape, and that's what I see too. Now, obviously not like in this pose, because
he's not
honestly,
even hitting
I'm gonna take a shot at Amir for this. He did Bruno fucking dirty by posing.
If he's not hitting the pose.
Like there was a couple of shots what I gave Joe, and I said, hey man, don't. I was like, if you post this video, so it's cool. I said, don't post a screenshot where you're on and Jordan's off. I said, because we don't want to disrespect Jordan like that. Like,
You don't want to do that.
And to me, this is taking a shit on Bruno, and he shouldn't do that because you have Amir nailing the pose, and then you got Bruno over here. Now keep in mind, notice Amir's closer to the camera as well. Like that's a dick move to post that. Like I wouldn't post my competition when I'm in the pose and they're sitting here trying to breathe or they're transitioning, because what that does, your fans are then going to say, oh my God, you smoked this guy, or you should have beaten this guy. It's like, no, because the fanboys don't understand that. But you know, as a guy who's been around a long time, I wouldn't do this to a fellow athlete, regardless. I can't even say I would do it to anyone because I don't dislike any of the guys I competed with.
They might not like each other because he put "talk is cheap." I don't know why he put that. Maybe they have some kind of beef or something. That's a weird hashtag to put.
Talk is cheap. I mean, that's just not. It's not professional to do that. That's a shithead move. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I don't not like him because he's never crossed me personally, but I'm just saying like that is kind of, I don't know. If there's beef, take it. I mean, hell, if there's beef, there's out. I mean, dude, it's Texas. You can do what you want in Texas. Go out there and roll around on the ground, fuck each other up, like break each other's jaw, nose, whatever you feel the need to do. Don't talk it online.
No.
But I don't know what that means. I'm not personally friends with him, so I can't say. But I will say he did look good here. He did improve from pre-judge to finals, and Bruno slipped a little bit. And I think that's how he was able, because Bruno was harder in Tampa. Like, he was not just a little bit harder, he was quite a bit harder in Tampa. I think that's why Bruno, like, you know, people want to talk about politics and the judges, and I'm going to say, let's not use the word politics. Let's talk about social media, not politics. I got that wrong. People say that like social media matters or it doesn't matter, or politics matter or it doesn't matter. I will say this. I think they knew the front runners going into this, because when they did that first call out, Joe was in 6th place. And I got thinking, I was like, what in the fuck is going on? Like,
I saw that.
Sitting here like, I'm like, no. I said, I was like, and I looked over at Joe's mom. I said, here's what's going to happen. Joe's going to go, they're going to do one full round, because they actually brought up like 6 or 7 guys, and they had Joe like on the far right. Mm-hmm. I said, Joe's a rookie. I said, they're giving him a chance right now. And I said, and Joe knows how to pose, and he's going to hit him hard. He's going to hit him with confidence. I said, you watch. They're going to move him in after that first round. And boom. That's what happened, because Bruno was ahead of Joe on the first call out. Well, sorry, not the first call. The first round of posing in the call out. They immediately moved Joe in because they're giving the, like, so when people say like, oh, it's politics, it's this, Joe went into that show with no fucking politics, no name, no hype, no nothing. They saw a rookie, even though it wasn't his pro debut, they saw a rookie and said, hey, this guy looks pretty good. Let's throw him in the first call. And I think they threw him up there probably thinking he was going to get, you know, demolished. And then turns out it was the exact opposite. You know, it's like, shit, man, we need to compare this guy to John. Then it was like, shit, we need to compare him to Jordan and Quint too. That's how Joe did that. But as far as like Amir and Bruno, I think Bruno just slipped a little bit like on this show. Because I think Bruno is a more complete bodybuilder than Amir. Amir brings that just rock hard conditioning, and that's me hitting my granite countertop. But he does bring that, but Bruno brings a more complete physique. And when he's in shape, he's a great bodybuilder. I can't see Bruno ever being out of the top 5 if he's in shape.
So you were impressed with him in person, right?
In person, he's much more impressive than pictures.
That makes sense because I got to be honest. I was kind of thinking a similar thing. I kind of felt like he might be a little overrated, a little bit, not to the extent that people say, but I
No,
thought he
he's
made.
he handles himself professionally on stage. His posing is not. I mean, I think he could use a little bit of work, but it's not bad. But he's compact, he's dense, and he doesn't have a lot of flaws. He may not have like the wow factor with a certain body part, but if we pick apart his physique, he doesn't have like a ton of flaws on his physique.
No, it's really shoulder width, not his actual shoulder muscle, just his clavicle width is the only really weakness I see.
Phil Heath had that too.
This is true. This is true. Yeah.
So like I wouldn't discount Bruno at all just because of that. Like right now he's not Phil Heath, obviously, and I don't know if we'll ever see another Phil Heath for that matter. But he has like his frame can hold more muscle.
For sure.
Like he's nowhere near tapped out. And also he's kind of I don't want to say he's a rookie because he did the Olympia last year, but like he's still fresh, he's still new to the game, and his muscle looks fresh. So I think he's gonna go up and up.
Yeah,
Like this is he's not at his best. I'll say that. The best is yet to come for Bruno. So like I'll give Bruno props. I'm not going to argue with that placing. I think he might have arguably deserved to fall sixth at finals because he did slip a little bit. But I mean, he'll learn from this and he'll improve from this.
exactly. His glutes have a unique shape to them, maybe.
A little bit bubbly, like Bruno kind of has like a wellness glutes on him there.
But he's shifting his hips back. I don't like that, man. Like if you watch when he gets into the pose, he shifts his hip back a little bit. I think it makes your glutes look. I think it makes
his glutes are big already, but I think if he clenches them, like pushes his hips forward, I don't think he has the adductors to pull that pose. Because when you look right here, see how his adductors are not huge.
Yeah,
so if he turns to the back and he hits his glutes super hard, I think it's going to make his legs look small from the back, and I feel like that's why he does that. And I could be wrong, but that just seems kind of logical to me.
It takes away some lines from your glutes, but honestly, the judges aren't too hard on that. As long as there's no fat on your ass, I don't think they care too much about the crazy lines. You know?
Well, he can get them though. Like we saw him before, he can get them. He just, like I said, I think with him, he's already set his own standard, and he was a little below his own standard, and I think that hurt him.
Yeah, this is true. It's true.
But moving, I feel like we just got to group the top four. We just kind of got to group them together.
Yeah, because
top four from Tampa. I mean, we obviously had one placing move on this, but like between these four guys, it makes bodybuilding so much more fun to watch because, at least for me, because usually, how many times have we seen shows where there's one and sometimes two guys,
usually
excluding the Arnold, excluding the Olympia, and in this case, excluding the Pittsburgh. But like excluding the top highest paying shows, I mean, hell, even look at those shows like the one that's in Dubai, like Beirut. He fucking cleaned house. Nobody came close to that. Like there was no battle there. It was Beirut's show. So at least with shows like this, I feel like it was interesting because all those top four guys all had their own unique traits about their physiques. Mm-hmm. And Bill actually gave everybody a chance. And I really I've never actually watched Bill judge a show before. So this was a first for me. But he gave everybody a chance. He worked on more than like what Sandy or Tyler would work them, but less of what Steve would work them. And I think Bill found a good sweet spot where it was like, hey, these guys have done their homework. They can pose. They can hold their poses. There's no reason to kill them, but yet let's make them work it. Let's make them earn it too. Like
let's also not turn it into like a endurance sport.
Endurance, yes, yeah. I mean, he gave them enough time to display their best, He didn't overdo it. He didn't underdo it. So, kudos to Bill for that. I appreciate it. He came up and he talked to us backstage. He handled himself very well professionally. So Bill became, because at not prejudging, at the athlete check-in, he spoke at the check-in. And at first he kind of came off like a little wrong, or at least like he basically said, I don't do emails. You're going to get your feedback live from me right now, backstage after the show. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I got that. But he's like, and guys, he goes, I ain't arguing with you. He's like, if you want to come here and tell me why you should or shouldn't play somewhere, he goes, we're not having that conversation. He goes, I'm here to tell you about your physique. He goes, if you're going to tell me that you know more than me, we're not doing that. And at first I was like, just the tone, I was like,
yeah.
Man. And then I got thinking, I said, Justin, that's exactly what you would say too. I said, you can't get mad at this man for saying that, because like it would be like I'm gonna pick like that the 212 guy that moved up, Obin. Like if he came up and was like, man, I should have beaten John Jewett, and I'd be like, dude, no, just here's what you need to work on and go do that. Don't argue about my judgment.
Yeah.
So exactly. I actually like Bill. Like he came up and he spoke to us and he gave us his critique of, and of course it's the critique that we all know with Joe, right? It's a little bit more quads, especially when he stands next to Jordan, who has phenomenal quads,
really good quads, complete quads.
Yeah, actually complete lower half, not just quads.
Yeah,
because when he turns to the side, most of the time, Joe's going to own everybody from the side shots. And I do think Joe beat Jordan on the side shots, and I'll say that. But from the quads, Joe's legs look ridiculous, but so does Jordan's from the side. Yeah, so I think everyone here in that top five, John Jewett is John Jewett. He's established. We all know what he's capable of. We all know he can win shows. He brings a complete package. And he actually talked about do what?
Did you think John was better than Tampa here?
He was actually. I think he got a little bit better. He talked about it on one of his posts that he said he needed like 1 to 2 more pounds of fullness, and I agreed with that. He didn't need a judge to tell him that, and he fixed that. And the only thing is, Joe came down, and I brought Joe about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds lighter. So even though John improved,
so did Joe.
So it wasn't enough for John to leapfrog Joe in this case. And obviously Joe got in front of Quint, which we'll bring Quint up in a second. But like with John's physique here, it's very complete. The only knock I could say is when he turns around to the front, there's certain angles. I didn't say his abs are bad. There's certain angles that they don't look as good in. And I think that's literally just a posing thing that John can still work on to be a little bit better. And that's just me giving him like constructive criticism. But, John's been a multiple-time Olympian. Was he 11th or 12th at the Olympia? I can't remember if it was 11th.
I think 11th. I want to say 11th.
Yeah, and remember we talked about that. He could have been a little higher as well. Yeah. So John looks amazing here. The one thing I would love to see John do to improve his stage appearance is, you may not be able to tell it from this video, but in person, his color was a little light.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that's Protan's fault, and I'm not saying it's John's fault, but there's something at fault there. That even in Tampa, his color was light. And I think if John could bring that darker color, I mean, obviously, Quint's black. And then Joe nailed the darkness, and Jordan's got the perfect tan. So
I don't know how he does it.
Jordan's got like that red tint to his. I don't know, but he knows the color. And
he's
I think
pale.
John's color actually hurts him here, and that's something that's within his control. So that's something that I don't know if he needs 14 coats of Protan before or what. And I'll mention this here in a second when I talk about Joe, because obviously I was highly involved. I coached him for the show. Yeah. We started his tan at Wednesday. He got like a spray tan from a local company. And then we had a bottle of tan. I personally I done about 90% of his body, and then I'll let his girl do the other 10%. You catch my drift on that. But I painted him up as good as I possibly could, and she watched the process. We did that, and then he got sprayed on Friday, and then he got sprayed again on Saturday. But it was literally 4 coats to get him to that color. And I just think John needs to do a little bit more work on the tan, and that will improve his stage. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to make him win shows or lose shows, but it's going to be an improved John Jewett. And that's the only real critique I got against it here. I just think that he was against better bodybuilders, and that's just all I can really say about that. John didn't do anything wrong. It was pretty flawless, and he also won the. I know it looked like he slipped there, but this is not his posing routine. I don't think. I think this was individuals.
Yeah.
But he did win the best poser award.
Oh wow.
So,
okay. Good.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's posted anywhere, but like I was looking at the top 10 doing their routines, and I said, okay, it was between John and Patrick, and I think Patrick has the potential. I mean, let's face it, black guys can pose better than white guys. Y'all are better than us at this. Like, y'all know how to dance and move. Like, you ever seen a white boy in a club? That's fucking embarrassing. You ain't gonna catch me. You might catch me in a club drinking at the bar, but you ain't gonna see me on the dance floor. That's for damn sure. So, like, I think Patrick has the tools to have won that. I just don't think give him another week. I think he could have gotten Edge John out on that best poser award, but John added some artistic flair to it. He didn't just come out and hit the mandatory poses and then walk from side to side on the stage doing most musculars, which unfortunately that is what the vast majority of these guys do. That's common. And the thing is, it's not that that's negative, because that's what the crowd wants to see too. For the most part, they want to see beefy guys show strong shots. I mean, with Patrick on the other hand, he has that kind of aesthetic look and that old school look about him. If he could pose like Lee Labrada, he would win every best poser award. So John did take that, and I think John took it fair and square. John ended up in 4th place here.
John showed effort. He showed with posing routine. He showed really good effort.
Yeah, he put some time into it.
Exactly. Yeah, sure.
And that's why he got the nod on that.
Exactly.
Moving up, I think between Jordan, Quint, and Joe on this, it's really hard for me to talk about this, not on an emotional level, not like that. But it's really hard for me to talk about this because I'm trying my best to not be biased on it. And that's where I have, because the thing is, I like all 3 of these guys. Not as bodybuilders. Well, I do like them as bodybuilders, but I like them as people too.
Mm-hmm.
Quint's front double bicep is top 3 in the world that you just saw. That front double is a motherfucker to get past. Like, I don't care who you are, like that's a pose. But see, I think where Quint still needs a little bit more work. Obviously, we can give him if there was a most aesthetic award, he wins that. But his quad, like from top to bottom, like from hamstring to quad, it needs a little bit more thickness. And I also think when they started working them hard in the posing, I think there was a few times I could see him getting a little shaky that you don't see in the videos. That you don't see in the photos. You can't see that. And I also think he was people said he was better here. He was fuller here. But I think he was a little bit tighter in Tampa. He has very, very deep insertions in his quad. So that because of he doesn't have the biggest legs, but because of those insertions and his waistline, it makes his front poses stand out, man. It really makes them shine. Freaky big arms, broad. Quint has not arrived yet. And I know everyone said Quint arrived, but there's still so much more potential to come. He's not 100% yet, but he is working on it. And I will say that if he, how we were talking about more muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jose said, we watched one of Jose was on someone's podcast. I don't know if it was Dennis James. I can't remember.
Guys, It was
Yeah,
like Branch Warren, yeah. It was
yeah,
Branch
yeah,
Warren,
yeah.
yeah.
And
I saw
Jose
that
made the comment. He said Quint don't need to be 10% better. He needs to be about 2% better, because if he tries to overdo it, he's going to flatten out, and then we're going to see the
Yeah,
old version of him. But if he tries to
yes.
show up super full and round, he's going to lose that crispy. Well, he's not in the best condition, but he's going to lose some of that. And ultimately, I think he showed up a little too full, and I
I
think that
agree.
hurt and that went against him. That being said, I think Quint was a tiny bit, like he was 1 to 2% better in Tampa, and
Hmm.
Joe was 3 to 5% better here in Dallas, and that's what pushed Joe in second place over him, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And at finals, and you know, if you look at the scorecards, they do reflect this. Like Quint was better at prejudge than what he was at finals, and that's why you look
Always,
at
he
the
always.
scorecard. Do what?
I think he always seems to be better at prejudging.
Yeah, he slipped at finals. I'm not going to lie, man. I think he looked a little bit more tired on stage at finals.
Mm.
That being
Yeah.
said, Joe and Paul, and I take zero credit to this, man. Joe and Paul do their own training, and they train really fucking well together. That's why,
Mm.
like, I've had someone at Destination was like, "Oh, I'll let you go. I know you need to go train Joe," and I said, "No, I don't need to go train Joe. I don't need to go on training. Like, I stay out of it because I
Stay out
don't
of that
need
path.
to. Why would I step in here and change something that is obviously is a working formula? They work really good as a team.
They do.
I'm actually I'll throw Matt a bone here. Me and Matt worked good as a team when we trained together.
Okay, okay.
Joe and Paul trained very, very well and efficiently together. So I'm not stepping in on that. Imposing, I don't know if they start at 10 weeks out or 12 weeks out, but I know that they actually they get on the phone. It's a 10, 9,
I've done
8,
it with them. It,
7,
it's
and they
hard.
go through this for like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
It's like
bro.
30 to 40 minutes a day. I mean, so 20 for Joe, 20 for Paul. So I knew, I was like, I don't care who you get in front of. I didn't know how hard Bill was going to work them. Hell, I was hoping that Steve was here, because I was like, I know Steve will make them earn it. He's going to
Yeah,
pose the fuck out of them. And I was like, if he does, I was like, if Steve makes them pose, I promise Jordan and Quint is not going to keep up with that posing stamina. I mean,
not,
it's not a stamina show, but if you want to work on, I know that Joe was on top of it, and the more Joe posed, he kept getting harder and more polished, and the more he posed, I noticed Quint was fading just a tiny bit, like he was kind of getting flatter.
boom.
And
Yeah,
I also saw Jordan starting to fade just a little bit there in that last round. In my head, I was like, "Come on, Bill!" I was like, "Come on, Bill, give him one more
yeah,
round," because obviously I like Quentin, I like Jordan, but I'm not going to not root for Joe. Of course, he's
of
my boy. I'm
course.
not going to say no to that. I was like, one more
Yeah,
fucking round. I was like, just give him one more round. He's going to make him
yeah,
fade, because
yeah.
Joe was just getting better and better, and they were fading off. That being said, though, I think
Justin,
Joe.
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
but not even the stamina, the composure. When I pose with them, the first round versus 30 minutes later, nothing changes. They don't start to shake.
They
They
don't
don't
shit. They
breathe.
don't sweat. Now
Exactly.
they
They don't
probably sweat in
sweat,
the gym, but like they don't
bro.
sweat when it's game day.
Nothing. Their head doesn't go down. They don't lose enthusiasm. It's like nothing
And you don't
changes.
see the breathing either, you know, it's
No,
still
no.
tight. And those guys, when they get gassed, especially the guys that struggle controlling their stomach, like if I'm not going to, there's not this particular lineup, so I'm not talking
Mhm,
about these guys, but there's several guys out there that, we could reference that I won't. But you can
mhm.
tell when they go through one round of posing, it's on. And then when they get round after round, you start seeing that.
It's hard, bro.
And that's where like Joe and Paul stand out, because they do it's not that they have greater fucking lung capacities. They want it, man. They're hungry. Like they're
Yeah,
willing to sit there 20 to 30 minutes a day to 40 minutes a day and push each other after that workout. And they do it after the training, because that's when you're tired. You've
yeah,
already
yeah.
exhausted yourself. Let's go even further. So that way, when we're posing, I don't work the shit out of them. I really don't. Like I'll have them do maybe 2 rounds, because I know it's there. I don't have to do anything else. But the one thing I will say is, like when I pose with them, both of them have the same trait. round one, like in the mornings when we wake up, before we eat, before we get coffee, before we do anything, I'll be like, all right, go ahead, peel down, pose. And my first initial thoughts is, then a little bit on the flat side. I'm like, round two, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, we're coming to life. Round three, I'm like, that's what I wanted to see on round three. So I tell them both backstage, like, pump up, pose, pump, pose, pump, pose. Keep going, keep alternating, because the more you're hitting, the more you're flexing, the more your body is coming to life. So I don't know how much they did for prejudging, but like I know for a fact that, and they know each other's body. I do the nutrition, I handle the supplements, I handle the cardio, I handle the water, but I don't do the training or the posing for them. They do that, and I was like, this is perfect. They're doing the same show, they're competing together, and they're watching each other. So that worked out beautifully. And I think also I said I made Joe do 4 coats of tan. Paul did 2. Paul's naturally dark complected, so 2 was enough. And then Jordan, I think what really makes him shine next to Joe is probably the quads. If I'm being fair, it's the quads. I think Joe, and not to mention Jordan, has also got a complete look. Like I can't sit here and pick apart anything on his physique. Could his arms be a little bit better? Yes. But like he's got phenomenal abs, big giant quads, and he's in shape. I don't think he's as hard as Joe, and I think everyone would agree with that. But Jordan carries, Joe's got the rugged, dense muscle, while as Jordan is a little bit more aesthetic and prettier. So take your choice, apples to oranges on this. The judges had it, Jordan winning with a perfect score. And I don't want to say that prejudge, because in prejudge, Jordan was better at prejudge than finals. I think it was closer than a perfect score at finals. And that's not me picking on Jordan. Like I said, we're all friends. I think it was a little closer than a perfect score at finals because Jordan was fading a little bit. But at the same time, I don't think anybody, whether it be anyone from Jordan down to John Jewett, I don't think any of them was disappointed because they all knew that they were top caliber athletes. So what was it so good about it was like, no matter where you move them around in the lineup, everybody shined. It was not a clear-cut winner. I didn't think it was. It was not one of those, this guy. So it's like, remember when Andrew did it last year? It was like, not do one round of posing. Just be like, Andrew, get the hell off the stage, man. We'll give you the trophy in a few minutes. Like he won.
Bro,
clearly.
When Andrew came out, people got quiet. Then they started giggling, and then to the point that Andrew actually giggled a little bit too. Like even he thought it was funny. That he doesn't by the expression. Like we talking about old ladies are like, what the fuck is that? It was just, and the crazy part is like he wasn't nearly as conditioned as Jordan. But guess what? It didn't fucking matter. Nobody was looking at the glutes. It didn't. You couldn't even get to the glutes.
There's just and that's another thing that I want to point out here that I think Joe had on over everyone. Jordan had the aesthetics, right? Mm-hmm. But Joe had a stage presence, like a dominant stage presence. Like, obviously, I'm not comparing Joe to Andrew. It's 2 completely different physiques, but there is when they walk out, your eyes go right there because of that. It's like, think about Jay Cutler for a second, right? Jay was never the aesthetic guy. And there was times I could argue that Jay didn't have the best conditioning either. But like there was something that just brought your attention. Like this guy's just dominant on stage. Joe brought confidence, conditioning, graininess, dryness. He brought a complete package. So I think he had like when he's hitting these poses, he knows he's on.
Yeah, you could tell.
So like he came out with a much different demeanor than what we had last year at the Cow.
I think Joe has less weaknesses than Jordan as well. I think the only thing you can say Joe needs is more quad sweep. Not even more legs, more quad sweep. I think Jordan, you could say the arms, you could say the back, the actual back. His back poses are actually good, but his actual back, the tissue on his back, you could say
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, yeah. And
Like,
I also
this is not one of those shows where Jordan didn't just walk in and get this handed to him. He had to earn this one.
he did. I also think Jordan could be as conditioned as Joe, but then he would have to give up more size to Joe.
Yeah, and
And
that's where him and Chris like seem to know things like how his body works, because if he brought the level of conditioning, and it wouldn't have been, and Jordan's not off on this much, man. Like
no,
he
no,
is
no,
pretty
no.
hard.
Yeah,
Like,
very
but if
hard.
he
Yeah,
brought if he brought it down, say 4, 5 more pounds, and the reason I say 5 more pounds because he's a taller guy.
yeah.
If he brought down 5 more pounds, he wouldn't have won the show
I don't think so. Yeah,
because he brought that balance. Like I'm pretty fucking hard and I'm pretty full, but if I sacrifice this fullness to get a little bit harder, it's actually going to be a weaker look.
they made the right call, and lucky for him, he doesn't have the spongy skin problem. So him coming in fuller, he didn't lose any glute lines, right? And he didn't
No,
have like
but
like a
Jordan, if you look, he actually has big glutes as well. So that muscle's just like pushing against the skin.
hard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. His actual back wasn't as hard as Joe. Like
No,
I mean,
nobody in
nobody's
the
back.
show had
Yeah,
that.
yeah, nobody had that. So
I'm going to
that
be, I'd go on a limb and say that back double bicep it's top
top.
5 in the world.
I think you could say top three.
I was trying to be humble about it.
Well, I mean,
I
in
didn't
the
want to shit
comment,
on anybody, but I was trying to be humble here.
well, in the comments, everybody was saying because at this point, Derek has had the best back double, but then Nick kind of beat him, and everybody was saying, "Well, this is very similar to Nick, but more peeled glutes, right?" It's like
He's kind of got a blend between Nick and Derek because
Derek lower body, like Derek glutes, right?
Derek's got the dry hamstrings and the glutes, while as like, when you saw Derek and Nick at Pittsburgh, like when
Adductor.
they hit that back double, I said going into the show, I said Derek's going to win the show from behind. But when they
Yeah.
turned around, I was like, okay, here's Derek, here's Nick, and my eyes, I was like, I just keep I'm like, why the fuck? I'm going to Nick on this.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Derek has the back width, glutes, but he's missing the adductors and thickness in the back that Nick has. Whereas Joe has the glutes of Derek, but the adductors of Nick, with the width of Derek and the thickness of Nick. So it's like a combination of both of
Yeah,
them.
he's kind of a mixture in between. Like it would be cool one day, and I don't want to say if, I just want to say when.
Exactly.
When he stands between them.
You're gonna see that's gonna be interesting.
I don't
And
know if obviously it's not going to be 2025 because we did shut the season down. A lot of people, I got DMs and I actually thought about it as well. It did cross my mind. I looked I think it was like Wednesday. I looked at flights and I said, for whatever reason, like when I'm looking at him in person, I'm like, we're not losing this show. Like I had it in my head. We knew he was winning the show, and he
yeah,
didn't. Ultimately, it didn't happen. And I thought to myself, like, if there's a percent chance that we lose, I said, could we do Spain? And I looked at those flights, and I'm like, it's $1,800 a flight is what I saw for decent flights. And it's going to be even more for him. Probably going to be like $2,000 for him because he's on the West Coast. I was like, this will be a long. My thoughts was this. It was like, if we got to diet another 4 weeks, maintain this level of conditioning to win Spain, and then we got the Olympia like 4 to 5 weeks after that, we have no breaks at all. I was like, by the time we get to the Olympia, we're going to be stringy. And I was like, it's just not worth it.
I feel what you're saying. Yeah. Well,
From a
we
physique standpoint, from a health standpoint, from a financial standpoint, and from a mental standpoint, it's just not worth it.
yeah, yeah.
Like we made our statement. He's now on everyone's radar. Everyone knows that he's coming, and anyone, whatever show, and we haven't picked a show for the following year. And I told him, I said, right now it's improvement season, and he knows we talked about what needs to be done. It's improvement season. We could pick. We may do a show in May. We may do a show in August. I don't know yet. When the schedule comes out, we'll release that when the time's right. Because right now, I genuinely don't know. And I did tell him this. I did say you need to grab a passport this year because,
For sure.
like, there's a couple of those international shows. Like, theoretically, if we did New York, then why not nail Toronto right afterwards, right? Take home that extra paycheck.
I mean, is New York, Cal, Toronto, yeah, those three shows, that would be like really good shows for him to do. And bro, if he actually makes any more improvements, he's not going to be beatable. I'm sorry, like for him to be beat, it's going to take like a top Olympian.
That's what
Like,
I was going to say. Like when we add and make this, see, before the show, like I didn't want, like Joe's a little bit more, he's not emotional like I am. I think I had more emotion, like in nerves. Like my shit was like, my insides was not right getting ready for this. I'll just say that. Like I was more nervous now than when I was competing myself.
Yeah, that
Like
happens too.
when we were watching multiple people's predictions, like before Tampa, everyone had him like anywhere from like 7th to 12th. And I'm like, I almost wanted to say it, but I was like, he's enjoying watching this. But I wanted to say, turn that fucking shit off, man. Like, I know you're messing with your head, like, because everyone's counting you out. I was like, just turn that fucking shit off. I was like, I know what I'm looking at right in front of me, and all these guys that they have ahead of you, we're gonna fucking beat them all. Like, I don't. It's not a question. It's a fact,
100%.
and obviously we proved that. And I even told him going into it, and you can ask Joe this one-on-one. I said, the two guys that I'm worried about is John Jewett and Jordan Hutchinson. And I said, we got one other thing. I said, Quint's a wild card. I said, if Quint's on, Quint's tough. I said, he's not been on yet. I said, I did. I ruled Quint out. I really did because he hadn't proven himself yet, but this time he did. So that I called it better than anyone else called, and I just kept my mouth shut though because that's how I like to do things. That's how I like to work. I don't like to overhype anyone. I don't want to underhype anyone. So I was like, just sit down and shut the fuck up, and we're going to let the physique do the talking. And that was the attitude I had going into it. If you notice, like every time, like it, there's certain levels to bodybuilding. It's like when Jonathan Withers won nationals. I think I told him like 3 weeks out, I said, stop posting. I want you to show up and just destroy dreams. Is what
you're going to win. Yeah, you're going to win.
And I was like, I remember showing the video to a couple of people, and they were like, oh, he looks good. He'll be top 3. And I'm like, top 3? I was like, do you need fucking glasses? I wouldn't send the video. I wouldn't post it or send it. I was like, you can see it from my phone, but you don't get to keep it. I'm not going to let you have it.
Yeah.
I just think that now, next year, I think anyone that sees his name on the scorecard or the competitor list, they're going to be looking for him now.
Yeah, there's this weird thing. Like if people don't know a name, even if they don't even know what the person looks like, or they do know what they looks like and they look insane, they discount it. Because on Dennis's podcast, Milos mentioned him. He said, "Hey, I know you probably haven't heard."
I got to give Milos credit because Milos has got the eye too. He knew.
Yeah. And then nobody even like caught it. Everybody completely, they didn't say it. They just disregarded it. Okay. And they move on because if the name doesn't jump out, people just, the cool thing is that I know Joe probably enjoys Bro Chat the most. And the entire lineup basically of Bro Chat all had him in like top 3, which is random, but they have good eyes. So they didn't really, Fuad and Ian been like keeping up with him to a point. But when they put on a video, like Seth and Mike, everybody just kind of went, wait, what the fuck?
When they put it was the ice blue trunks. And when Joe posted that video, I was like, I was like, man, I'm glad he posted. I was like, I kind of wish he didn't because I like showing up and just I love the thought of just ruining people's hopes. It sounds like a big move, but I like that showing up. Like, you remember when I won the Orlando Pro?
Yeah. Nobody had you.
Going into that, no, I kind of had to lose my momentum because I was sponsored with Muscular Development. Mm-hmm. And I never told anyone I was doing the show. I didn't post any pictures, but of course, this was a little bit before social media it was just starting to take off. but I didn't post any pictures. And then at 5 days out or 4 days out, I get a message from Steve Blackman, the owner of MD. My name popped up on the competitor list. I didn't even tell my sponsors I was doing the show. Just did it. It was in my contract to compete, but I didn't tell them which ones I was doing.
Yeah.
And when he saw my name, he goes, Justin. He says, Justin, I didn't know you were doing the show. He's like, send me some pictures. And I thought to myself, I was like, fuck. Like I saw those pictures that morning. I was like, man, I'm on. I knew I was on. I was like, and everyone's like, Della Rosa. And I'm not hating on John. I was like, John's gonna win. Fred's gonna win. Who is he's not around anymore. He was damn it. A little bit wide waisted, but he was a big guy. Daniel Toth.
Okay.
Like people's like, this is your top three. And I'm sitting here like, man, I can beat these guys, and I know I can beat these guys. And I'm sitting here looking at the pictures. And I was like, y'all talk. Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna shut every one of you motherfuckers up. And I was just gonna show up, and like nobody talked about me. And then Steve, I actually asked him not to post the photos, and the shithead did it 10 minutes later anyways. But I understand because, he's running a magazine company, right?
Yeah.
That's his job. It's like, hey, this is the MD athlete. Here's what he looks like. And when those pictures were on the internet, I'm just sitting here chilling, watching TV with my mom and dad. My phone is just like, now granted, I don't turn my ringer on. My ringer's never on. But like, if my ringer was on, it was like ding, 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 ding. I'm like, I looked at my phone, like the notifications, the text messages. A couple people called. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm looking, and everybody's like, dude, you look insane. I'm like, how do you know how I look? And I realized, I'm like, Steve, and the thing is, I didn't want that hype because I didn't know how to handle that. It made me nervous, like all those people talking. I wanted to show up and do my thing. I knew I looked good, but I don't want these people talking about me. I didn't know how to handle that kind of pressure at that time. I was too young for that kind of pressure. I was introverted still. I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know how to handle things like all these people. And then I'm getting people like higher level people reaching out to me. And I'm like, damn, like this is good, but it put pressure on me. I didn't like that pressure because I felt like it was, some people get better and some people get worse. And I guess I got better, but it made me feel a certain way that I didn't like.
Were these the hotel ones or the one with the boxers?
The boxers, man. The boxers.
You got like the one glute out, and the glute was the one. Yeah. Those
I think they were orange too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? I feel like you're not that much older than me, but I feel like I was a kid. Well, but I guess we were all kids. I mean, technically,
I was about 24, 25. You were about 20.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I was a kid watching you, but then now I don't feel like there's a big age gap. Everybody was just young, I guess. But I remember watching that like, holy shit, this is crazy. This is insane. It was just. I have a question. At the time, did you find it fun at the time, or did you find it work, or you were just so focused you had no emotion?
Bodybuilding was never work for me.
Okay.
That's why, I did not consider it a job. Mm-hmm. It was like everything I did. My least favorite part of bodybuilding, and as much as I will not say, I'm not saying this in a negative way, but I like the tan afterwards, but getting the tan, I'm very okay. So I fish a lot and shit now, right? I hate putting sunscreen on my face. I don't like that oily. I like my skin to be natural.
Yeah.
And I hated the tan, and I was sponsored with Liquid Sunrays, and she nailed me. Marilyn nailed my color every single time. Marilyn and Jenny was usually the two who took care of me, and they got me right. But I did not like the feel of it. That was the only downside to bodybuilding. They got my color right, but I didn't like it on me though.
Yeah.
And the glaze. I remember the first time I ever got glazed, and I went to get that front lat spread. I'm like, shit, my hands are falling off.
You slipped.
So after that, I very specifically said, don't do my obliques. Don't leave that dry.
Did you see Bonac had wrapped his thumbs and people were like, "Is that legal?" And he's like, "Nobody said it wasn't legal, so I'm gonna do it."
Back them what, with tape or something?
He has something. It looked like a white band or something on his thumbs.
I
So,
didn't catch it.
and I've never seen that before. But I'm like, I mean, there's no rule against it. I don't think. So he pulled it off.
Tyson, do you need to be on camera?
There goes Tyson.
Yeah, you can keep this rolling. He's actually good to stay out for a minute, but I think he needs to go in. You can keep it rolling. It'll be like 27. Come on.
I bet.
Come on, Tyson.
That's true.
Come on.
And so while we're here, let's take a second to mention the sponsors of me and this podcast, and of Joe, Blackstone Labs, putting out quality products since I was a kid. I feel like at this point. Oh man, but you gotta fuck with Blackstone, man. I've actually been following the whole. I think most of us did. We was following the whole PJ Aaron thing. PJ even had like a reality show at one point. It was pretty cool. So I've always liked them from a distance, and again to know them. And I was friends with them before I ever actually worked with them. I've used Blackstone products before I worked with them, and it just happened naturally. Yes, sir.
He's good.
But yeah. Okay, yeah. No, but yeah. So you said it wasn't work, but did you find yourself enjoying it at that point?
I enjoyed everything up until, and this sounds bad, man. The things that I didn't enjoy about bodybuilding is I truly didn't enjoy the photo shoots very much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm one of the guys, and like the video shoots, like, I did not enjoy the marketing side of bodybuilding. When it became, when I had to do the business side of it, it did take some of the fun. It stripped me of my fun and my joy. Like, I remember, because obviously I did pull the contract card on Hani like once or twice. I was like, hey man, it's not in my contract. Like, I don't have to do this shit. Like, he had, like, in 2014, you know, social media was nowhere near as relevant as it was as 2016, 17, and on. So it was like 2 posts a week, and I'm like, and I'm not the guy. I have like 9 clients I got to highlight tonight because I just don't post. It's just not my thing. So the posting thing, he put like 2 posts a week, and I was doing my best to try to, like, I'm just not like, I'm not, you know, people say photogenic. I'm not like social media genic. If that's a word, I think I just made that up. But like, that's just not my thing. And then the videos, I'm the type of guy that, like, if you put a camera, like if I'm training and you want to video me from a distance, that's fine. But when that camera gets close to me, I'm probably going to stop the set and say, get the fuck out of my face. Like, it bothers me, man. It throws me off. So like when I would do photo shoots, I looked at the photo shoots because to me, I treated bodybuilding as every workout was a chance to get better or not better. And I wanted to be better. So I was like, I'm lifting weights for some guy to take pictures. This is not benefiting me. This is not benefiting my progression. But I understood. I'm like, I'm getting paid a lot of money. I can take a day off. But like, I hated like the photo shoots, but the video shoots, the workouts, I know the fans like it, but like, I remember Hani hired, this was my final year of competing. He hired a videographer, a local guy in Jacksonville, and he would come and shoot me. And I think this kid was so intimidated because I'll be honest, I did treat him kind of rough. And it wasn't his fault. And if he ever watches this video, man, I'm sorry. Like, he walks into the gym and I said, hey man, I'm Justin. I said, we're going to start in 5 minutes. I said, you ready? He's like, well, I guess. I said, I don't care, man. Set your shit up. I said, 5 minutes. I'm starting training with or without you. And I went on and I was like, here's how it's going to go. I said, do you know anything about bodybuilding? He's like, not a lot. And I'm like, listen, I thought to myself, like, this is going to be fucking great. Like, this kid don't understand bodybuilding, and he just accepted a job to shoot a pro bodybuilder. I said, okay. So here's how it's going to go. I'm going to train as if you're not here. So if you get the shot, that's great. If you don't, I don't give a shit. I said, I will not redo it. I will not wait on you. I said, you keep up with me. You keep up with my pace. And that is how it's going to be. And if you have a problem with it, then you can just leave. Because I'm not here for it.
I mean, it sounds harsh, but that's the reality of bodybuilding at that
I was
level.
like, I'm not going to and there was a couple of times, there was a couple of movements. He didn't get it. And he's like, are you done here with this set? And I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Or he's like, are you going to do more? I said, no, I'm not doing more. This is what I came to do, and I've already done it. I'm sorry, man. You missed it.
Yeah.
I did not like the videography side of it, and I don't know why. And to this day, I don't like it. If you come up, if I'm training, and maybe some fan out there is going to test me on this and try me on it one day. But if I'm training in the gym and I'm in the middle of a set, if you want to film me so that you're out of my line of sight over here, I'm good with that. But the moment, say I'm pressing and you get right in front of me and start filming, I'm going to stop the set and say, bro, you have two options. Either you're going to get the fuck out of my face or I'm going to knock you out of my face. There's going to be no in between. I'm not shaking your hand. There's no apology. Get the fuck on with your business. I don't like the camera in my face, but the fans and stuff, say you're some people, I hate to say it, but there's a certain fan base out there in bodybuilding that likes this. I'm censoring that for YouTube purposes, but you know what we're talking about. They want to see they want to hear you grunt, and they like that sound, that almost like ASMR stuff.
Yeah.
And when you get up in here, and I told you, I was like, you're not getting my face. Get that camera out of my face. If you want to film me, you want to get behind me, that's fine. But do not get that camera in my face. Yeah. And I had that happen multiple times. And it just turned me off to the sport, man. People don't understand, there's a vibe and everybody has their own vibe. But for me, I like to train in a gym by myself or as little people as possible. I didn't need music. I didn't want music. Dead silence. I'm cool with that, man. Dropping those dumbbells and hearing them fall. That's my music. Hearing this guy over here, maybe there's 5 bodybuilders in the gym or 5 people. Hearing this guy grunt, that's fine. Knock yourself out, bro. Do it. I'm not here to be around people, shake hands. It's not that I'm not Mr. Camaraderie, but when I'm in the gym, I'm a very selfish guy in the gym. I'm incredibly selfish. It's for example, this past weekend, I trained a former client of mine, Garrett. And I told him when we were talking, I said, bro, I don't think you want to train with me, because if I train with, if it's me and you training, I'm not going to focus on you. I'm going to do me. I said, I will gladly train you. I said, but if I train you, I will zone in and hone in on you. I said, but if it's me, I was like, if you're going to train with me, you're going to do what I do, and you're just going to hope you get it right, man, because I'm not going to look at your form. I'm not going to help you out. It's just I'm here.
Bro.
I was a very selfish guy. I did not like to be in busy gyms or packed gyms.
I know exactly what you mean, because the way you feel, that's exactly how I feel in prep. But for you, the entire year was prep, so you felt like this all the time, probably.
Yeah, I treated all season like prep.
Yeah,
and I remember when cameras, when the camera phones started coming out, when people wouldn't want to film me, I'm like, bro, you can film me, just don't get in my face, don't distract me. As long as you're not distracting me, I'm fine. But that is one thing that I had a very hard time with. And I remember back before I moved to Florida, there was a kid. I don't know if this kid's still in the bodybuilding. I don't even think he was a bodybuilder. I think he just seen the freakiest person of his life. And so let's just say I'm over here, at my 9 o'clock, right? Mm-hmm. He's sitting here and he's got his phone, got it in his hand, and I'm talking with my buddy who was also big too. And I'm in a tank top, just trained chest. I'm a few weeks out from the Arnold, and I'm pumped. So you can imagine what I looked like at that time. I'm 258, 59 pounds, 5% body fat. Yeah. He forgot that he had his flash on. And I'm over here, and he's just looking, and he tries to snap a picture. And he flashed it. And I looked over, and I caught it.
Terminator.
I lost my shit on him. And
Well, that's rude.
do what?
I think that's kind of rude, though.
Well, and that's what I told him. And I embarrassed him in front. There was like 15 people around. I said, bro, what kind of pussy ass shit is this, man? I was like, you're going to literally show and try to sneak a picture. I said, if you would have just stood up like a man and asked to take a picture with me, I would have flexed for you. I would have put my arm around you. I would have done whatever. We'd take a picture together. I said, but instead, you look like a coward. And I said this in front of everyone. He just kind of had his head down. I was like, yeah, I said, that's exactly how you should feel. I said, you literally look like a coward and you're trying to snap a picture of someone and you have your flash. I said, good job, retard. Like, I don't remember the exact words I said, but I just belittled him because, like, why would you do that? Like, I'm not a mean guy. Like, if you come up to me, like at Texas, man, there was this guy asked to take a picture with me. I said, yeah, I was like, let's get it right here. Somehow, when I said right out here, there was like 8 people got in between us. I went back and I looked for that guy. I said, hey, man, I was like, I didn't forget about you, bro. I was like, I needed to talk to Joe for a second. I didn't forget you. Come on, let's grab the picture. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're just going to be a weirdo that's here and, like, snap pictures of me in the corner, I'm going to call your bluff on that. And I'm going to do it, like, I think I literally, like, scared this kid out of the gym. He probably never came back ever again. And to be fair, if Joey Swole busts me on this video, I probably deserve it. But, like, I was not Mr. like pump, like, fist bump or anything. I just wanted to go in, and I was an asshole. Like, and I apologize to a lot of people. Like, I didn't treat people right when I competed.
It's like the mindset when you're in that whole. You don't want. You're not a. It's almost like you don't want to be a dick, but sometimes it's the only way to get it done, though. Okay, yeah. Think about this. There's days that I'm like, bro, I've been talking like to people for like. This is like 20, 30 minutes. Then I'm like, this can't happen again. So next time I come to the gym, now my attitude is different. Not because I want to be a dick, because I don't have 30 minutes to give just chatting like that. So I'm like, fuck it. Yeah. I got to shut down everything today.
And I was the guy as well that I always showed up because when I first like became popular in bodybuilding, I did not do this. And I'm getting a Tyson's trying to, T-Man, what are you doing, son? You okay? You go lay down. You go lay down for me. Oh, can you even see him on camera?
Yeah, I can see him. Is he chocolate try or black try?
He's like blue.
Oh, blue try, I think, right? Because he has the top and then the under and okay.
Yeah. Tyson, buddy, you'll get some attention in a minute. But no, like when I used to go to the gym saying I'm going to start at 1 o'clock, and I started at 1 o'clock with or without you, training partner, no training partner. But I got to the point where I realized, like, hey, man, like people really do look up to you and like people want to talk to you and stuff. So oftentimes I would show up 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early. I'd have my post-workout with me as well. So like if I'm done training, I can hang out for 20, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever I need to do at post-training, and I can talk to people. But I was very adamant about, like, if I am actively training, I would not speak to you. And I would rudely cut you off, too. And I did that because that was my job. That's what I was getting paid to do. And I do have, like ADHD, like attention deficit, whatever you call it. Yeah. Like, when you distract me, now my head game's off, and now my workout's off, and that's a me problem. I understand that, but that's why I tried to dedicate the time before or after to talk to people, because when I'm actually there and I'm training and I'm getting ready for something, I did not want to be bothered. And it's, again, it was my job and it was my career, and it was also the fact that I don't know if you want to call it a mental disorder. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I couldn't physically talk to people and actually stay focused. Like, even if I put a timer on, like 90 minutes between sets, 2 minutes between sets, my head's off. Like when I would get into a set, like my head was like, okay, let's fucking go now. Like that was, I had to be there. I had to be in my zone. So like I would have people come up and be like, hey man, I have a question. How do I fix this? I'm like, I don't know, man. Go talk to the personal trainer. I'm not a trainer. Go talk to the front desk. And I would just turn my back. And that's one thing I don't feel bad about. I really don't. And I remember I had an argument with this kid online one time. And everyone's different, man. And again, this was a me problem. I did not know how to deal with people like this. I was introverted as a kid, and I was so honed in, zoned in, whatever you want to call it. Like I was there for one purpose and one purpose only. And I just remember like when people would try to approach me like in the gym, I just kind of built a bad reputation for myself in the gym because of this. And I remember when I was in Jacksonville, when I first moved there, my ex, she asked me, she goes, Justin, can you please do me a favor? I said, what's that? She goes, when we go to the gym tomorrow, because it was like our first day, she goes, can you not be an asshole? I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, if people want to talk to you, can you not be an asshole? And I said, nope. I said, I'll talk to anyone before, I'll talk to anyone after. And there was a guy in the gym, and I could, there's always that one guy that talks to everybody for 10, 15 minutes. He spends 3 hours in the gym and does like 10 sets. Yeah. And that's his right to do that. However, it's also my right to not talk to you as well.
100%.
And I walk in and I was like, I know what he's doing. He sees me and you get to see like, oh shit. Like, because I was like, this was a small town, very small town. And I was an Olympian bodybuilder at that time. He sees me and he kind of has like, he's just kind of coming up to me and I go, head nod, walked off. And I wore the big Beats headphones.
Just to have it on.
We got into it one day. Every time I saw him, I would always blow him off because every time I saw him, like while I was training, he's talking to this guy 10 minutes. He's talking to this guy 10 minutes. He's talking to this guy 10 minutes. I was like,
that guy. This
is not the guy I want to be friends with. I cannot, and it's not a personal thing. I'm here to work. Well, one day, again, anybody that knows me knows I ain't afraid to fight. Mm-hmm. Like if you got a problem, we can handle it. I don't want to, but I'm not afraid. I'm not going to back down from it. Yeah. So he calls me out. This time the gym was busy. I don't know why it was busy, but I had my headphones in. I was getting ready for the Golden State. The photographer wasn't there, thankfully for that. If he was, I would have had to take his camera and be like, bro, I'm not letting this footage go out. So this guy comes up. There's like high school kids. There's going to be like 8, 10 high school kids in there, some adults in there. And you could tell this guy used to be a bodybuilder. He'd always wear like a stringer tank top and stuff. And you could see you know how retired bodybuilders, we have that look. Yeah. Like this guy used to be big. And I don't think he was ever big, but you could tell he knew what he was doing in the gym. And all of a sudden, like I'm walking around, I'm in the Evagen tank top, and Hani did give me like the top of the line Nike shit. I'm in this tank top, and this guy comes up and he goes, "Hey," I'm like,
"Excuse you."
He kind of yelled, and he kind of went like this, like take my headphone off. And but because like when he looked in, he wanted to say something to me. He wanted to be friendly with me, and I wouldn't be friendly with him because I literally watched this guy for months on end, and all he does is yap that fucking mouth in the gym. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to work out. Like, we don't got time for that. I don't mind saying hello to you, but we don't got time to talk for 20 minutes. We can do that before or after, but not during. And he said, hey, and he must have pulled the headphones off. And I was like, well, I already know this is going bad. So I took my headphone and I remember looking at him, I go, what? And he goes, who the fuck do you think you are? I was like, okay, now I'm going to take the headphones off because the shit just got real. And I was like, excuse me? He's like, you walk up in this gym like you own this place. And I'm like, I don't walk up in here like nothing. As a matter of fact, I mind my own damn business when I walk in this gym. Literally. Well, I didn't say that. And he's like, all these kids around here, they all look up to you. He's like, you could be nice. He goes, what you should be doing, he said, you should be teaching these kids how to work out and how to train. I got thinking, I was like, I looked at him, I said, first off, I'm not paid as a fucking personal trainer. I said, so let's make that clear. I said, kids, what you all should be doing, I said, and I looked over and I was like, when I was a kid, I watched the biggest guy in the gym. That's how I learned to train. I said, I don't got no problem if y'all watch me. I said, watch and learn. I said, please do so. I encourage it. That's how I learned. That's how I got to where I'm at. And I got back to him. I said, first off, you can take that attitude and you can fucking shove it up your ass. Like me and him, and I don't remember exactly what was like. There was a lot of words, And he kind of I just kind of stood up to him. I was like, it kind of fizzled out. And every time he would say something, I'd come back at him, and every time he would cut this low, I'd cut lower.
Yeah.
And it kind of got to that. And I guess he thought he was big shit for doing that. So fast forward like a week later, he ends up, he didn't know. One of my friends, one of my actual friends, comes up to him and he goes, "Hey man, I heard Rick punked you in the gym." I said, "You heard what?"
The story always.
Yeah, so he tells everybody that he punked me. And I looked at him, and I won't name drop this guy because I know he's watching this right now, or he will watch it when it comes out. And I said, "Look, you're a good guy, and I don't think you're one to lie to me." I said, "Don't be starting no shit," because I said, "because you know I'm angry about this." I said, "Did he really actually tell you that he punked me, or are you just sitting there making this shit up?" I said, "Because I'm not trying to start drama." I said, "But I'm also not going to take no shit either." He goes, "No, man, it's literally what he said." He said he called you out and punked you, and he said something like you stood down and looked like a bitch in front of the whole gym. I was like, all right. I thought to myself, it's like, I don't know if he's telling me the truth. And then like 2 days later, somebody else told me the same story. And I said, okay, that's the rumor around the gym. So I waited, and I remember telling my ex, I said, "It's going to go down, bro." Like, didn't call her bro, but I was like, "It's going to go down." And she's like, "Justin, just don't say anything." I said, No. If you're going to punk me, I'm going to make you do it. I'm going to let him see what punked is like. So I caught him on the treadmill with the gym owner right there too. He was friends with the gym owner. And I said, "Hey, step off that treadmill for a second." And he looks at me, kind of has his chest up. And I was like, "So," I had like a crowd around. I was like, "So, rumor is you punked me." I said, "So let's get something straight. You don't like me." And I said, "I damn sure don't fucking like you." I said, "So if you punk me," I said, "go ahead and punk me right now. Come on, what do you got?" I was like, "You want to tell the kids here this is what happened?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't say that." I said, No. I said, "You did say it." I said, "Because I've had two different sources tell me this." I said, "So go ahead and pump me." So what do you want to do? I said, "We can do it right here. We can do it outside." I said, "You want to fight? Let's fight, man. I'm here for it. I want it." I said, "I want the smoke. Come on, give it to me. Show it to me." And he's like, "Well, I didn't say anything." And I said, "Look," I said, "Yeah, you did." I said, "Two people." The gym owner sat there. I was like, "Jim, you can sit down for a second." I said, "This don't involve you." I said, "If you want to kick me out and remove my membership later, you can do so." I said, "But this does not involve you right now." Yeah. And I said, "Come on." I said, "Come on over here. Pump me." I said, "Kick my ass." I said, "I'm begging you right now." I said, "Do I need to start it?" I said, "Do you want me to make the first move?" I said, "I can do that too." And all of a sudden, he said, "No, no, no, no." And he just backed off like a little bitch. Yeah. I was thinking like, and to follow that up, and I won't get any more like aggressive here on the podcast. Yeah. I won't say which show because again, I don't like to start shit. I never start shit, but I will finish shit.
You don't even necessarily like for people to see you in that mode, right? It's not like a good feeling.
It's embarrassing.
And you feel like even after the fact or before the fact, your blood is boiling the entire day. The whole day your blood is boiling. You're like, oh, because you know it's gonna go down. So you don't even want to be in that headspace. But sometimes you have no choice, bro. You're like, fuck it. It is what it is. I'm gonna have to do it. I don't want to, but I'm gonna have
that day, I honestly, if I would have gotten one of two things gonna happen. Either he was gonna have to whip my ass, but if I got the upper hand on him, I wasn't going to stop when he went to the ground. I was going to take an aggravated assault charge.
You always just keep going, yeah.
I wasn't going to stop. I was going to beat him straight to ICU. I was cool taking the charge. I was cool getting arrested. It didn't bother me. I was going to hurt that guy that day.
But that's why a lot of us, we don't want to be in that headspace because we're gonna do something that we don't necessarily want to do. That it's not a positive thing. But you started it, man. You took it there, man. You took it there. You said a similar thing happened to me, but with the gym owner, and he wouldn't step outside in the gym, and it's his gym, respectfully. But in the gym, he was tough. But once it was time to step outside, he just wouldn't come outside. He would just stay and just talk shit. I think as a man, bro, I think you got to take the ass whipping. Like if I know I'll put myself in a position like that, and I have to step outside, even if I know I'm gonna get my ass beat, I'm still gonna step outside because it's too late at that point. You
Yeah,
gotta go
if
get.
I'm going to run my mouth, the only time I will say this in my life, and I've told a couple of my friends this story. It's not something I'm proud of, but it is what it is. I was in Sam's Club when I was still competing, and I remember I was big. And Tyson, you're needy, buddy. You're so needy. But I was in Sam's Club, and this guy behind me checking out, he makes a steroid comment, and I thought to myself, I was like, all right, I'm gonna pump the shit out of him. I turned around and I realized something real quick. Both of his ears was cauliflowered out, and that nose had been broken in like 3 places. I was like, I just turned the fuck around. I was like, Justin, know when to hold him, when to fold him, but you're about to get your ass whipped.
But see, it takes a real man to admit that. Like you have to know your boundaries as a man. You have to understand that and be like, okay, this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you have to. You can't always think you're the biggest, baddest guy, right? Now, there's certain situations where it is what it is. Like somebody spits on your mom or wife or something. You're like, you know what?
Got to.
I'm just gonna take this ass beating. Fuck it. But you're gonna go for it. I saw a video like that. It was like this skinny white guy, and it was like three bigger black guys, like kind of like like kind of they look kind of like hoodlums, like if I'm being honest, right? And they're talking to the guy's wife, but they're calling her bitch and shit. And he stepped up. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're laughing and like pop, and I'm like, I respect him more than y'all because he's stepping.
Yeah.
But he knows you're literally gonna kill him. He might literally die if you guys beat him up. But he's like, I'm not gonna let you call my wife a bitch. I'm just not.
You're right.
So
yeah.
So even if he gets fucked up,
that man, for sure.
Exactly, and then you know what? His wife is gonna respect him too because she's like she knows he's gonna die too, but she's like, I respect the fact that she stood up for me, right? So that to me was real. I thought they were losers because it's 3 of y'all, 1 of him. He's tiny. What the fuck you gonna put? First, why are you punking a girl? First of all, and then why are you So he gets my respect. Sometimes you got to do that. It's unfortunate that she's gonna get fucking hurt. Well, but sometimes you have to.
I think I told you that story happened to me downtown Jacksonville with them, right? Long time ago. It was a similar situation. It was 3-on-1.
Oh shit! That's
I thought I told you that in person.
I think you probably did in Vegas, probably in the hotel.
It was literally the same situation. Like, so instead of saying, like, the girl I was dating at the time, she was very innocent and she did not deserve any negativity, no comments. It was late at night. It was dark. And we were not in, and I was just learning Jacksonville. I didn't really know, like,
the neighborhood.
I didn't know this was the bad part of town.
Yeah.
Figured it out real quick. But there were 3 kids. And this has been my last physical altercation I've been in. So that tells you how long ago this has been. This was like 2017.
Yeah.
3 kids. And the girl I was with was pretty well built. And they made a shitty comment towards her. And I thought to myself, I ain't letting this go. Like, this is bullshit, man. Like, we're just minding our own business. I turn around. I said, look, boys, if y'all want to say shit about me, that's fine. I said, I ain't got no problem with that. I said, but I'm not going to sit here and let y'all talk shit to her. It's not go down.
Fuck that.
Well, one of them, so keep in mind, it's 3-on-1. The little short fucker, like 5, he wasn't much more than 5'4", 5'5" with his shoes on. Walks, sticks his chest up, says, well, what are you going to do about it? And he sticks his chest up, and he's like charging at me. Not like fast.
Yeah.
I said, okay. I said, well, here's what's going to... In my head, I played the scenario real quick.
I guess go now.
I stuck him. I got him real quick, just a straight right. Got him right on the button, too. Put his little ass right on the ground. Yeah. And then I thought, oh, fuck. Now I got to think his buddies are going to jump on me. Yeah. I mean, why would they not, right? I thought to myself, I said, I'm probably going to die, man. Like this kid ain't going to be down for very long. These 2 are going to keep me distracted. One of them's going to get me. One of them's going to grab my arm. The other's going to punch me. They're going to grab my legs. I was like, anyone who thinks they can fight 3 men at one time, sorry, you're not Bruce Lee, buddy. And even if you are Bruce Lee, I don't know if Bruce could take 3 people either. Like
Yeah.
your favorite Brock Lesnar, John Jones, whoever you got, they ain't taking three people at one time. Not if all three of those men are like working strategically together. Maybe Eddie Hall, but like as Eddie did that fight, but like if you took three, he fought like little guys. But like if you took three big guys, Eddie couldn't take three big guys at one time.
It's funny you said. I saw a video of a guy beating up, I think, two or three guys, but he was so fast they didn't get a chance to know what was happening.
Yeah,
so
that was what I tried to do because I literally thought I was like, I'm outnumbered, I'm unarmed. Now if I was armed, I would immediately just pull my waistband and said, "Back up, back the fuck up, you're gonna die, son." But I was unarmed, and I was like, okay. As soon as he stepped up, I was like, I had to do it. It was like an instinct. And I caught him right on the chin. And it wasn't even like if it would have been an overhand right, I probably would have hurt the kid really bad. He was young. He was probably like 18, 19 years old. If I would have got an overhand right, but the thing is, he closed the distance so fast, I almost got a jab. It wasn't even really like a straight right. It was like the mixture between a right and a jab. He walked straight into my fist. And his buddies was like, dude, what the fuck? And I'm thinking like, thank fucking God they did not just jump on me. Like, as soon as they said that, I start backing up. I start backing away. He's not hurt. Mm-hmm. You don't know where he's at for a second. I looked at her, I said, let's get the fuck out. I said, go. I said, just walk. I said, go on. We need to get out of here before they regroup and realize that they do have the upper hand with 3-on-1.
Exactly.
They just didn't expect me to actually react. But it's like, you literally cornered me. I had no choice. I did not want to do that at all. As a matter of fact, like, my hand hurt I hadn't been in a fight in a couple of years. I hadn't boxed in 10 years. Hurt my fucking hand when I hit him. I didn't want to do that shit. My hand was hurt for 2 weeks.
It's funny about I was in a situation where it was three guys. I did have a knife on me though. I had a switchblade, so I pulled it out.
I think you told me this. This is when we were driving to Vegas.
Yeah. So once I flip it, they all just froze, and then I just slowly walk away. You know,
I backed my ass away too.
Listen, if it's me and two other guys, and the guy pulled out a knife, if I'm not harmed, I'm not charging that guy.
No,
I'm not. If you want to charge him, go ahead. Once the knife is on the floor, then I'll charge him.
Yeah,
but I'm not getting.
Yeah, once the knife's down, we can talk. But I'm not.
No, fuck that. I'm not getting stabbed. But yeah, having a weapon would be the best. But sometimes you're not always gonna have it, man. You're not always gonna have it. So then you have to be smart. Be like, okay, what's the risk here, and what's the situation? Like if a girlfriend, mom, or a child, at that point you have to disregard logic. But any other time,
what it was like in my scenario, like I was very calm when I talked to him. I said, guys, y'all want to talk shit about me? I said, go ahead and make fun of me all you want. I said, I don't care. I said, I'm used to it. Like here's what it is, because it was a steroid comment. I'm used to this shit. Like, you don't bother me. I have thick skin. I'm not gonna allow this. And I was like, yeah, I'll just fuck off. And then when he like said, well, what are you gonna do about it? And jumped at me. I'm like, I did not see that coming. Yeah. I figured they were just going to start taking pokes and verbal shots at me. And I was like, okay, cool. You guys have a good night. That was my intentions, was like, y'all have a good night. Go fuck yourselves. Go fuck each other for all I care. But I didn't expect the kid to come at me. And it really just threw me off. And then when I was like, it was my natural instinct to protect myself. Yeah. And then when I hit him, I was like, and then I'm like, these other two are like 5'7" to 5'10". I didn't really get that close to them. They were, I'm going to say 10 feet back. So he closed in 10 feet. This how, like, you're going to close 10 feet. That means you want to protect me. You want to hurt me.
Time to run by, yeah.
And in all honesty, because Florida has a standard ground law, and we also have no concealed carry, you don't have to have a license to carry a gun here in Florida.
Okay.
If that would have been a scenario now, and I had one in my waistband, I would have, like when
they died.
Police officers, like when somebody charges, you back up, like you put distance, you back up and they draw. Like if that had been in today's time, and I was armed, I'm not saying I would have done it. I would have seen how far he wanted to push it because I don't want to hurt anyone. I genuinely.
Yeah.
So like I probably would have backed up and reached in, and if he tried to close the gap, I would have shot him.
Yeah. I mean,
But I didn't want to do any of that.
like as unfortunate as that would be, I mean, I know he's young, but man, you got to make better choices, man. Because
100%, all three of those kids were on drugs that night.
oh yeah, that's so bad.
They were all three whacked out on something. I don't know what, but it's not. No three sober human beings do that. It's just not normal.
Yeah. Being young, you're stupid too. But I'm not gonna let your stupidity cause harm on me and my girl because you're stupid. That's something you got to figure out. You're not gonna hurt me because you're stupid. I might feel bad a little bit after the fact, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
I didn't feel bad for him at all. The only thing I did say is like when I realized the other two was not going to charge me, I backed off and I looked and I thought to myself because we were on concrete, and I was worried the back of his head smacked off of concrete, and that can be fatal. And I saw that and I was like, he's getting up. I was like, he's moving. I was like, we need to get the hell out of here right now. I was like, we gotta go.
Oh, you mentioned the concrete. There's a show on Netflix, I'm a Killer. You ever seen that show?
Yeah. I haven't watched it in a long time, but yeah.
This guy's doing like a life sentence or close to it. These guys try to hit his sister or a similar thing, like was cursing out his sister or something along the lines. And he hits one of the guys. The guys drop, hits his head and dies. What? But he was a big. From what I heard, he was a big guy. He was like they kept saying like his size. He's a big guy. And I'm like, bro, but he's protecting his sister.
Yeah.
But the guy died, so it's like it's a fucked up situation, bro.
Well, there was a bodybuilder, man. If we stay on this show long enough, I'll try my best to remember his name. He was good too. He turned pro in classic physique under Matt Porter, so it tells you it's been a while ago.
Oh, it's been a while, yeah.
I cannot for the life, and I'm going to tell you, I actually, you know,
you talking about Bo? Didn't Bo Lewis go to jail for? Is it Bo Lewis? Didn't he punch somebody? I think he killed somebody. I think he punched somebody. They died. And he went to jail.
I don't know. You're talking about Bo Lewis, like the guy that I'm
yeah. I think he did.
Trucks.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
I'm pretty sure he killed somebody with his hand and went to jail. But I didn't do a life sentence because that would be like aggravated manslaughter or something. So he didn't. I mean, he did probably at least 5 years. But I'm pretty. Don't quote me, but I'm like 90% sure he went to jail for killing somebody by the same by hitting them. Yeah.
There was a guy. This would have been 2014. This guy ended up turning pro, I think, in 2015 or 16. And it was. I don't know the full timeline on this, but I remember the story on it. When I think of his name, I'll send it to you. And if I can think of it before, maybe I don't know if you want to link it. Not that it matters to anything. I read the story online, and I remember at the time, the only reason it resonates with me is he DM'd the girl I was seeing, and he told her like, "Hey, you know, I'm." Maybe they had a thing in the past, and what happens in the past was in the past. It ain't none of my business. I have a feeling it probably did, and that's okay. It doesn't bother me. But he DM'd her, and he said something like, "Hey, I'm going to be in town," and she's like, "Yeah, I'm seeing somebody." She's like, "You probably know him," and she's like, "It's Justin Compton," and he goes, "Well, what Justin don't know won't hurt him," and she showed me the message. She should not have shown me that message. So she told me, she's like, "Well, nothing happened." She goes, "I shut him down, Justin." She's like, "I told him to pretty much kick rocks." I remember very clearly saying, I remember sending a message and I said, "I'll see you soon." And that's all I did. That's all I said. And to this day, it's been 11 years. I've never seen this guy. Fast forward, I don't know if it was like 2016, 15, 17 range, whatever range it was. He got into what it was not a self-defense because I read the article. I didn't hear the story. I read a news article on it. He basically got he started trying to like intimidate, bully this guy at a bar, and he followed him. And the guy's retreating. The guy's literally like, bro, I got no problems. Like, just leave me alone. I'm going to leave. And I guess he followed him outside, and he really had a problem with this guy for whatever reason. I don't know. It didn't say the reason why it happened. And the bodybuilder sucker punched him anyways. When he fell to the ground, he didn't kill him, but he basically turned him like he fucked his brain up, and he basically took it because the guy I think was like either he was a college baseball player or a pro baseball player. I don't remember now. Again, it's been a long time since I've read the story. Mm-hmm. And he knocked him to the ground. And when he knocked him to the ground, he turned him into a vegetable. Because it wasn't the punch that got him, but the head smacking off the concrete. It did not kill him, but it basically killed his brain. So he ended up doing I don't even remember. It was like 5, 6 years, 4 years, something like that.
At least 5 years, yeah. Because
I got thinking, I was like, well, that does serve your ass right. And then I thought to myself, I was like, this guy has probably done 5, 6 years in prison. Dustin, if you want to start shit with him, you don't have your hands full. I can guarantee you he's got more experience than you do. So obviously that was long gone in the past, and I don't even literally think about it now. But at the time, I wanted his throat.
Yeah, because that's the 10 out of 10 disrespect. You can never say that to a man's girlfriend, bro. That's crazy.
When he says, "What you don't know won't hurt him," I'm like, the fuck did this guy like who in the fuck does he think he is? Like, is going to say that kind of shit? Like, I had it a full intention in my head. I was like, we're going to get violent, but it never got to that.
Justin, thanks for being gracious with your time. This is people prefer the long episodes actually, so they're gonna love this. They're gonna love it. I also like to keep. I like to keep you separate from the Fit Nation podcast because you have like your own like demographic as well that wants to hear you in particular talk. So I feel like if it's all together, we lose out on both, right?
I do like the groups though, like getting like 4 people in discussions.
It is nice.
It's like I used to not watch like the bro chat and stuff, but now I kind of like it.
Well, okay, so people like I used to think it was a bad thing where I would send so many links, and sometimes I'll have like 6 people, and I'm like, this is a fucking mess. People love it. Oh, the more people, I love having all these people. But you gotta think about me. You gotta think about me as the host. In my head, I'm always gonna think like, yo, this is out of control. But people love that shit. People love out of control. They just want everybody, you know.
You got people speaking over top of each other and stuff. Like it's kind of annoying, but at the same time, it's kind of fun to watch.
You see how it could be stressful for me though, because I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I have no kind
of. You're trying to create like organization, and it's actually chaos.
Yeah. So my favorite from a host standpoint is 2 or 3 people because I feel like I can direct the traffic really nice. I can let people go on because I don't like when people get cut off. It irks me. I'm like, the story was going well, and then somebody cuts off, and then you forget what you was talking about, and then
it's off topic real fast.
Yeah, but people love it, and I want somebody to be able to talk without somebody getting bored or falling asleep in this corner because this person is talking. You know, so I like it, but people love the longer the episode, and the more people, the more they love it. I'm trying to be also respectful of people's times. So I don't want to keep people for too long, but the viewers, they always want more. They want more episodes, more because people have it on cardio, people have it on workouts, people have it on driving, and I get it because I love listening to podcasts too. It's fun to just have it on while cooking is on. When I'm cooking, I'm cleaning is on. You know, so but thank you so much for being generous with your time. I want to do more of these, man, but people love it, bro. People love it. Maybe have a third wheel. I don't know who I would mesh. Maybe keep it a coaching.
I'm going to say, honestly, man, just because of the hype that he's got on him, I think you should bring Joe on.
You're right. Yeah.
A lot of people right now want it. Like right now, to the best of my knowledge, Leo got Leo got a really good podcast of Joe. He got it like 2 weeks before Tampa, and Leo was smart. Like, man, he nailed the timing. he released it the day after Tampa because he knew Joe was going to make a statement.
He's smart. So it's funny because I actually interviewed Joe right in that same time frame, but I released it right away.
Yeah,
I knew he was, because I was looking at it. I know he's going to do well, so I want to post it before. But it's the opposite. If you know he's going to do well, you're supposed to put right because
Leo knew that they're like, who the hell is this Joe Palacios guy? Like, and they're sitting there Googling on YouTube, and the first thing pops up is the podcast. So Leo definitely got you on that one.
Yeah, because I already know Joe. You got to keep in mind these people now they know him. But
I think now would be a good time to bring him on, just because people want to know more about him.
For sure, and Joe also speaks well, explains himself well, and breaks it down in a way that he doesn't sound like a fucking Google Translate, right? He makes he makes it relatable and understandable for everybody, but it makes sense. He sounds smart, but he does it in a way he puts it in layman's terms so everybody can understand it as well. So yeah, we definitely we talk about training and we can talk about everything. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think he gets home. He's flying home tomorrow, and I'm sure you might be able to hit him up on like Thursday or Friday, and then say, hey, what do you think about one day mid next week? Because I even told him, I said, when you get home, like he's so driven right now. He's still in Texas, and he's like, him and Paul both checked in with me at like 7:30 this morning. I wasn't expecting that early. It's like 10 o'clock, and they're like, hey, man, what do you want me to do for like meal one? I'm like, oh, shit.
I didn't see that coming.
I was like, okay, yeah. So, but I told him, I was like, when you get home, I said, just decompress, spend time with your girl, spend time with your baby, relax, have a meal or two off, like just get back into like Fat Joe mode.
Don't try to go through all your DMs because you will not get through them.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that because I know his DM. There's no way he's keeping up with that shit right now.
You know how I know that? Because people are DMing me about Joe.
Same. I know. I was like, if they're coming directly to me, like I can't imagine what his looks like.
Exactly. But that could be very stressful, man.
I'd give him, like 8 to 10 days and see if he's up for something next week. Because he also knows as well, like from a marketing standpoint, the fans, this is a sport where they forget about you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not like, unless you're like, actually, even with every other sport, unless you're the GOAT, like nobody forgets, like Michael Jordan can do a podcast and it's going to get millions and millions and millions of views. Yeah. But like the vast majority of like basketball players, while their name is hot, sure, they get some attention. 2 years from now, shit. 2 months from now, nobody knows who they even are. So I feel like right now he knows that, and like people are just dying to hear from him. Like Branch interviewed him at the gas booth, and what was funny is I had to comment on it. I couldn't help myself. But like Joe was like, he said something about carb up. He goes, well, we didn't really carb up. We only ate like 250 grams of carbs. And Branch was like, 250 grams of carbs. And I can't make a Branch more an impersonation, but like Branch when he's like serious.
Yeah.
And he was like, kind of, you only ate 250 grams of carbs?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And like literally Joe's like, this is what Justin wanted me to do, and that's what we did. So like people were kind of mind blown on that, but like, we haven't really talked about like what was different, what we changed. And I think a lot of people would really want to hear that, but not hear it from me. I think they would want to hear it from him.
Yeah, I mean, including myself, because I haven't really. All I've done so far is just like heart to heart and like congratulate him, but I want to give him room to decompress. So I'm actually interested in hearing everything from his mood.
Yeah, I think you should, man, because if you don't, somebody's going to. They're going to want to pull him on because they're going to want to know like how you made this leap and downs.
For sure, yeah, and 100%. He should definitely do the Joe tour and get on every fucking podcast. I'm sure he will.
I think Dennis already reached out to him.
Of course, yeah.
I told him, I said, Dennis was like one of the guys I grew up watching. I said, do not say no to Dennis James. I said, Dennis was like the freak of freaks, and he also calls it exactly how he sees it. So me and Dennis would get along perfect. I was like, you should go. I don't need to be on. You need to go on that show.
It's going to be a good one. I also want to see. I want to see him on not even a one-on-one. I want to see him on the bro chat the entire. Because I want to hear what all of them have to say because they all really, So I think it would be more fun.
He would be perfect for that because
Yeah.
like it depends on how you feel about things. Like if you're one of those guys, it's like super. I gotta be professional. The bro chat's probably not for you because they speak real. Thing is, people know this. Joe is very real too, man. He'll just say what he like, and he doesn't say it like any bad way, but like
He won't
y'all
hold
want to
back.
talk about some. I'm just gonna hold. I'm gonna hold back. If whatever y'all want to talk about, or whatever they want to talk about, he'd be open to talk about it.
Oh yeah. And the opposite extreme, if getting deep, we've gotten deep on the podcast before. Like even talking about his dad, like we've been like deep into podcast. So he's willing to go both extremes. He's willing to get vulnerable. He's willing to be, private, even private stuff, personal stuff, just fun things that some people are maybe too uptight to talk about. He'll talk about it all. So like you said, I think he'll be perfect for that. And well, I really hope because this is you got to strike while it's hot. I hope I hope he really gets on that, but he gets on everything just so he could continue. People can get to know him because we've known this was going to happen for some time. Nobody else knew, but we've known this was going to happen.
I've known, I've actually known for about
The Cal State,
8, 9 months because as soon as that rebound started from the Cal, I'm just like every time like we've done a show. I always have expectations, and I like to set my expectations high for people. I really do. And sometimes they let me down. Sometimes they hit my expectations. But Joe's always went above my expectations. Like I'm thinking, okay, this is our minimum, this is our maximum, and he's somewhere over here. Yeah. So like I see this and I'm like, man, next year, like this is the fucking year. Like I knew it. I knew it by like July of last year.
I mean, the Cal State 2022 as an amateur, we all agreed that Joe is going to be a legitimate pro. Yeah, like we knew, and this was like 30 pounds lighter.
Probably. I knew it at like 4 weeks out before anybody even saw it.
Yeah, we're like this guy. We're like with this look. I think we said because he was lighter. I think we said I don't know if we said 212 at that time. We were like,
it was in like between 210 215 range.
Yeah. So at that point, we knew he could be a legitimate pro back then. So years later, we knew this was going to come eventually. Obviously, So
I'm sure he'll respond to you quickly, and you guys can arrange something. You can have him on. You can have me on. Both of us, or just have him. It doesn't matter to me. And like I told him, I said after the show, I really thought we slammed the door at finals. I really thought we were winning in finals. But I told him, I said, after the show, man, you don't need to mention me. I said, but, get your family up here on stage and, just really soak this moment in. Like, this is your time to shine. So, I mean, however you guys want to do it, if you want to bring me on, I'm cool to come on. If you just want to have Joe, that's cool too.
All right, bet. All right, bet. I'm going to have you guys both on more than likely.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, brother. Yes, sir.